Hey, welcome back to the episode of Saran Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hey, dude.
How you doing, man?
Oh, man, I'm just, chilling. I'm good. How are you? I want to know.
Good. It's funny. I know this is a podcast, but I forgot again how to start the show, and I looked at you, and you were looking down, and I was like, "Oh, thank God! It gave me a second to think about it." And I nailed it. I fucking nailed it. I said the right thing.
You nail it every time, even when you fuck up. It's brilliant. I love it. Oh, man.
Speaking of nailing it, this week we're doing live action garbage.
Hey, we're talking about the live action Parasyte movie. Parasyte just came out on Netflix. The anime.
Yeah, Parasyte. It's called Parasyte the Maximum.
Parasyte the Maxim. So Parasyte Part 1, I think is just the name of it. No Maxim in this.
Yeah.
We decided to check that out because we've already seen Parasyte the Maxim.
Yeah.
Which is a good time.
Yeah, quick. I just want to do a quick story.
Yeah.
So my boy Adrian's watching The Last Airbender. Shout out to my boy Adrian. And he finished it, and him and I were like texting back and forth and whatever. And then I said, hey man, when you're done, if you want something else to watch, check out this Parasyte the Maximum, right? It's on Netflix. I think you'd enjoy it. It's a good show.
Yeah.
And so he finished The Airbender, and then he texted me. He's like, "Hey man, I'm watching the show." He was like, "It's good. It's really brutal." And I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of the gist." And he goes, "Except it's really hard to watch something in Japanese while you're doing your physics work because he's doing he has it on with stuff." And I go,
"Yeah,
That's
impossible."
I go, "Oh, okay, yeah, but why don't you just turn it in English?" And he goes, "You can do that?" And I fucking lost all respect for Adrian. I was like, how fucking dumb. He's like, I didn't even think about changing the language setting. I was like, but so shout out to Adrian for being an idiot. You can watch it dubbed and subbed on Netflix.
The frustrating part about that is that other people probably don't know. They're probably not as exposed to the different ways to watch foreign shit,
Yeah.
That's a bummer. But I'm glad he figured it out. I'm glad he mentioned it.
So when that was going on, I was like, oh, cool. I'm so happy that this week we're talking about the live action version of this, because then I get to say on the podcast, Adrian's a fucking idiot. So
yeah, he'll listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, we talk about anime bullshit kind of early on sometimes, so he'll tune out nice and quick. Sorry,
eventually,
bud.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
All right, man. What are you up to? Do you want to start? Or do you want me to start? I feel you should start. You feel like you have a lot to say this week.
All right, sure. So I'm going to talk about work. I'm happy talking about work. I've been playing games and shit too. It's been fun. But work is what's important. We all know that. I don't understand what is wrong with people 100% of the time. We've had some fucking whack-ass shit going on last couple of days. I'll start with the end of my work today. It was 5 minutes until we closed, and we get a phone call, and somebody's like, hey, I locked myself out of my bathroom. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, we'll just walk them through how to take the bathroom key that's above the top thing. And then you gotta do a little twisty. Some people are dumb and don't realize that you have to do a turn and twisty at the same time. And she's like, I don't have that thing. I'm like, fuck, okay, so I'll just go run her over one. So then I get there and I'm giving it to her. And I'm like, it's fine, it's right by my place. I'm just gonna hand it to her and go home. She's like, so, bobby pin is stuck in the hole right now. And I'm like, you could have told us that over the phone. You could have not had me come here with just a tiny little piece of metal. I could have had some pliers or something. So instead, I get there and I'm like, okay, well, I'll try to yank it out and see if I could twist it and get it around whatever mechanism she's clearly hooked it onto, and get it out of there. Couldn't. So I decided, you know what? Bobby pins are small and malleable, and this piece of metal is smaller than the keyhole. It's supposed to be really easy to go ahead and fix. So I do that. I put it in, I twist it, I get it open, and I say, all right, your bathroom's... And a cat comes running out, and it's like, you didn't even say that you locked your pet in there. Maybe just gonna let your pet suffer? Maybe not, I don't know. But I was fucking blown away by that. So I got it unlocked, and I'm like, all right, maintenance is coming by tomorrow to take care of that. And I'm just blown away, okay, so somebody can't get their bathroom door open. Clearly they panic, but our office is still open. They might as well be like, hey, does anyone know how to fix this? Instead, they waited until they possibly fucked up their entire bathroom lock. I don't know if it works anymore is where I'm saying, who knows? to call, but they were too embarrassed to say anything about that until I get there. Like, all of the different steps that could have happened were just like the worst decisions all throughout. Which, whatever. That's fucking great. So that was one thing that I had to deal with. No biggie. Got to learn who this person was. I see her walking around sometimes. I was like, where the fuck do those people live? Like, every time we see people, we're just like, which apartment is it? We see them all the time, but I don't even know if they live here.
Now you know who they are,
sure. So I'm
and you know they're idiots. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool learning two things like that at once. Mm-hmm. And then let's see. We had somebody who called this morning saying that their air conditioner isn't working, which sucks. That's fucking terrible. It's been over 100 degrees.
It's hot as balls, dude.
It sucks. So actually it was yesterday that they called, but this morning I called our air conditioner repair company, and they said that they'll either be out today or tomorrow. Didn't give a great estimate, which doesn't matter. That's fine. That's just how it goes. So I call up this person, and they're just completely fine with whatever. And I'm like, okay, so yesterday you were panicking. Today you're okay and don't care when they get there. What's going on? And he tells me that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but it's been working all day. And I'm like, do you know why? Like, were you running it super low or anything? Nothing. He just says, no, it just suddenly stopped. We never do that. We never go below 70, whatever it is. There's only one thing that could happen if it miraculously works, and it's that either something was fucked up and it still needs replacement, or there was never an issue at all. So we still have to send out our like subcontractor company to come and check it out. And he comes back and he's like, there was no problem with it. So these people were just lying to us and required us to like have this company come out, and we're billed for it and whatnot because they're just fucking lying.
Maybe they forgot to turn it on, and they're like, this thing has been working all fucking day, and they just forgot to turn it on.
Some more air conditioner stuff. This guy calls and he's like, this regular American guy calls.
Okay, I like how you had to preface it what kind of person he was.
Nothing weird going on here. He's not from some country that doesn't use air conditioners frequently or whatever. He's just a regular fucking guy.
He's a good red-blooded American. Okay.
He calls and he's like, hey, my air conditioner isn't working. It's just stuck on a time. And then when I press the arrows, the time changes on it. And we're like, okay, well, that's a program setting. This is how you fix it. You should just press this button and it'll set the program. And then you press this button to ignore the program because you didn't know what you were doing when you were setting the program. And now it's all fucked. And how we started this whole conversation was, hi, my air conditioner temperature gauge isn't working. And we're like,
the thermostat?
What's that mean? Like, you're out at your air conditioner? And yeah, we have to be like, the thing on the wall? And he's like, yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, that's the thermostat. He's like, okay. It doesn't say like, oh, yeah, right, my bad. He's like,
the remote control for the air conditioner that's hanging on the wall doesn't work.
Just like, okay, man, cool, whatever. So teach him what a thermostat is really quick. Teach him how to use it. And then he's like, so I'm not home. We're like, why are you going?
And you're educating him on what a thermostat is?
What the fuck? He's like, do you mind if I call you back?
He's at work. I like to think he's like he's like a judge. He's like, yeah, I'm in my break. We're on recess right now. God.
Yeah, so I'm like, dude, just call me back in a couple minutes. And he does. And we're telling him how to do everything. And he's like, oh, good. Now it says it's 90 degrees outside. And I'm like, okay, like, did he get to some kind of a fucking insane setting where it says like outside 90 degrees, which I didn't know our thermostats could tell that from our air conditioners. And then I hear some mumbling in the background. He's like, oh, that's how hot it is inside. Dude, it's not like his first time moving out somewhere or anything. This poor girlfriend is just like, that's how hot it is inside.
We were just talking about how there's like boomers saying that fucking people don't know how to do anything, like kids, young kids. I'm just like,
Yeah.
yep. If we would have had a class in high school that told us how to work the thermostat, we'd be all set. This is fucking brutal. That's
But,
embarrassing.
You honestly just need to know how to do one thing, and that's Google. You have to know how to use Google and say, what's this thing called? You find out what the thing is called, and you're like, how do you do this thing? And then you see like, oh, well, it depends on what kind it is. You see the big old name right there, and you're like, Honeywell thermostats. And then you get the instruction guide for it. Boom, done. Now you know how to do everything.
You don't even need
Or
that.
you could call us.
Sometimes you you type in the name of the thing, and then it goes, how to do this, and it's like a YouTube video of some random dude.
Some person fucking doing it.
That's how I learned when I got my new car. I didn't know how to, I think, either pop the hood or like do something. Pop something.
Yeah, some weird shit where it's like, well, in most cars it's this way, but in this one it's clearly different.
It was different. And so I quickly Googled, like, I just typed in the name of like the make and model of the car, and it's like specifically this. And it's like a guy's like, yeah, if you want to pop the hood, you pull the thing here. It's like, oh, it's a push here. And I go like, oh, cool. It was like 2 fucking seconds,
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I was like on one of like the group pages on Facebook that I follow for like miniatures,
Uh-huh.
And I asked a question. It's like, hey guys, any tips on like setting up this specific type of warband, like, or advice, because they're like different races or whatever, and someone very nicely, like after like a few minutes goes, yeah, here's a Google Drive or whatever, like a link, maybe this will help you out to check it over. It's like, cool. He didn't say what was in the Google drink, like the Google Drive link. It was he's like, it just was named like specific warband. And I go,
I'm
okay,
now
cool.
gonna any link from Google Drive, I'm now calling it Google Drink. Hey man, mind sending me that Google Drink?
Google Drink. So he sent me the Google link, right? And I click on it, and it says like, it's one of those restricted ones. It says like, hey, you must ask for access. And I go, okay, well, all right. So I like, all right, I'll just ask for access. I wrote back and I go, yeah, I clicked the thing. It said I had to ask for access. And then he goes, oh, well, if it's not working, then, you tried this instead. And I was like, it's not that it's not working. It's like whoever has it doesn't have it public, It must be someone that gave it to you, that gave you also like the access to it,
A lot of people aren't that tech savvy, man.
And then after that, this is the one that really killed me. He's like, honestly, like if you just want to find out, how to set up that warband, just put it in Google. And I was like, you don't think I fucking did that? And that's not the question. I know how to set up the warband. I'm asking, does anybody have like any like specific tips or tricks, or maybe like what their list is, like to compare it? Because like this is like a online community, and like, and it's like, and I have a question, so like I'm gonna pose a question and see if we can start talking. He's just like, just Google it. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit, just Google it. I'm 26. I know how to Google shit. And I was like, and then right after him, some guy sent me like a list. He's like, yeah, this is what I do, and this is why I run it this way. And I go, fucking thank you, super helpful. Now I get to see why you do your thing your way.
There's some weird parts of the internet that are insanely helpful, and some other parts that are just there to make other people feel worse about things. And like I was talking about before, a lot of people just don't know how to do certain stuff because they were never given the opportunity to learn it. Why not just treat everyone with respect instead of be like, hey, this is how I learned it, fuckface. Just like,
hey, dummy. Yeah.
You know what? I learned this, and I learned a couple of tricks along the way. Like, that's what I feel like I should do. That's what I try to do with my job. I'm like, carbon monoxide, throw it in the freezer. People, they're just some stupid tips. That
one sounds made up though. That one sounds like you see your alarm going off. Throw that bitch in the freezer. like that doesn't sound real.
So the reason that works is only because it lets the battery die if you need to replace it and can't find a screwdriver and are dumb and panicking about shit.
Yeah.
So
no, I get it. Yeah, it makes sense. It's funny though.
It's a real ass life hack, but man, it's dumb and not real at all.
Oh, it's 90 degrees inside. I like that.
Let's see. Yesterday I got called because somebody has mice in their apartment. I don't know their house. I don't know their lifestyle. I don't know what they do. All I know is that they have a Pomsky. It's fucking adorable. It's a Pomeranian Husky, and it has way too much goddamn energy to live in an apartment. But it's cute as fuck. That's all that I know about this apartment. So they call and say that they've seen a couple of mice. I'm like, all right, sounds good. I'll get you a couple of mouse traps. We use the glue traps here, which sucks, but it's very effective at getting rid of mice.
Is that the ones that they get stuck and then just kind of suffocate?
Well, they don't suffocate. You have to end their suffering.
Do you have to then go in and kill them afterwards? They have to do it? Like you put the trap and then they get stuck. And
if they don't want to, then we have to. It sucks. It was my first weekend working alone somewhere, and I had to go and do that. It was actually here. I had to go fucking do that, and I never killed anything. It was...
I mean, I've killed
horrifying
stuff before. Like my old roommate, shit like that.
Yeah.
No,
normal stuff.
But that's interesting.
That's sad.
I always thought those glue traps, like they stuck them and then they just like their mouths got stuck and they couldn't breathe. I didn't know you had to go and.
Well, that's what happens, if they're struggling or panicking too much. But a lot of them just stay calm and just squeak for help.
And you got to go kill them. Fuck, that's brutal, dude.
It sucks. I feel so shitty about it.
And that's.
But I haven't had to do it in a long time, so this is why I'm not super stoked about this. But
anyways, that's more humane than the one that snap. That's better.
No, it's not more humane.
It's just the choice. That's just the one you guys go with.
It's the most effective.
Oh, most effective. Okay.
Yeah, the snap is very fast.
Like the little cheese, on the thing. Very Tom and Jerry. I'm a fan of that. I've never had to use one, but if I had to use one, I'd use that one.
If that is a trap that we have, we recommend peanut butter. So,
big triangle, little triangle wedge
at home. If you want to actually humanely take care of your mouse problem, that is the most humane way, other than keeping it alive and releasing it in the forest or something.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
Or in the fields or wherever it's from.
The
Anyways, that whole fucking shitty thing. So I get called at 9 a.m. for this. I'm not stoked. I'm so not ready for it. But I get up. I start my day. I get it going. And then I head over and give her the traps. And I've already explained to her, it's got instructions on there, so I'm just going to leave them on your patio. So I come by and I knock, and I'm like halfway down the stairs. And she's like, can you show me how to do it? And I'm explaining, I can't, because that means that I have to touch them a lot more. And it's like 9 a.m, and I haven't showered or anything. I don't have gloves and a mask. I want to keep my distance. And if I showed you how to do it, that wouldn't be helpful. And she's like, well, then can you show me where to put them? I've already told her exactly where to put them. For those of you that don't know at home, you put any kinds of mouse traps along the sides of things. So if you're having them in your cupboard or in closet or whatever, put it along the edge of the closet, because they always run around the edge.
Yeah, up against walls.
Yeah, they are always up against walls. So I explained to her how to do it once again, and told her that it's got instructions. It's very easy. You just fold it and then you snap it together. It's kind of like those clamshell to-go boxes. Think of it like that.
Okay,
but with one more step. Instead of it just folding in half and you tucking it in, you fold 2 parts and tuck them together. It's easy. It's fucking... She just she was not okay with me not showing her how to do it. And I'm like, it's 9 a.m. I'm not ready for this. It's my day off. I wanted to sleep in. You're calling me about mice at 9 a.m. And I'm telling you, I'm giving you the resources. Each time it happens, I get so fucking not into it when it's that early. I'm like, these people won't understand. I'm like asleep. They're like asleep. Neither of us want to do this. Doesn't matter. Sometimes it's like 10 at night where it's like I'm getting ready for bed or whatever. Somebody calls about some bullshit. That kind of stuff happens. It's just been so consistent lately that all this is going on. And now on to my last complaint, which is nonstop. People are like, hey, when are you going to open the pool? When are you going to open the gym? And we're just like, when the county lifts the lockdown, we're estimating September. And people are like, that's not okay. We pay for these things. And we're like, no, you don't. You pay for your apartment, and those come along with the apartment. Some people are like, well, that's why I moved here. And we're like, nowhere else has them open. That's not legal to have them open. What? So somebody had emailed us and was like asking, just being very like, hey, we just, want a little bit of communication through this. We're wondering what's going on with that. So I explained everything, and I thought I was very concise and thorough in my email with the lockdown has to be lifted. this is the situation right now. She was also like, I think that, the residents here would all be able to follow the guidelines and be responsible. And I'm like, these people literally jumped the fence a week ago, and we don't think that everyone would be responsible. And she's like, well, I think most people would. And I think that you're being too general. And I'm like, I'm not. It's those 5 fucking people that ruin it for goddamn everyone. Mm-hmm. Why do you think I'm trying to target you? And she's like, there hasn't been any communication about when the pool or gym is going to reopen or when they're closed. All that we had was just a sign on it that said it was closed. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty shitty, like, to not know that something that you're paying for gets closed. Then again, when the entire state announced,
they're not paying for.
Yeah.
They're not paying for
Not paying for it. When the entire state announced that, hey, all of this shit is closing for like an indefinite period of time. Hopefully it won't be that long. Then everyone was just like, okay, yeah, makes sense. But this person was like, we didn't hear anything about it. I'm like, maybe they just don't pay attention. They moved in May 1st, which, to give you guys an idea of this whole timeline of the pandemic, that is over a month after the lockdown was in effect.
Yeah.
They're saying that there hasn't been any communication. Yeah, I'm like, motherfucker, what? You moved in here in the middle of a lockdown and we're like, you never told us that the shit's closed. Like, yeah, we did. When we gave you keys, we were like, by the way, these are closed. And you never asked, are these open? When you had applied here, when you wanted the apartment. Instead, you were just like, they're for sure open because they're advertised on the website. And it's like, yeah, well, they will be open, and they are selling points. You have to, like, invest if you want to live here for those things. I don't know. People are just fucking ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's pretty stupid, man. I don't get how people can think that, like, yeah, I deserve this fucking pool and this fucking, what's it? It's not the shitty gym, but it's like a really tiny gym. It's like, look, man, if like a normal pool is still closed, like the city pool is closed, and if the normal gyms are closed, why wouldn't our tiny pool and our tiny gym be closed? Like, and then the whole, like, I think we can trust our people. No, fuck that. People are stupid. And why would you want to be in a vat of water with people you don't know? Why would you want to be working out in a sweaty gym, one of the places where most gross stuff? Plus, you guys don't have the fucking
clean up after themselves.
Yeah, but you don't have the manpower to make sure people clean up themselves. Nope. Are you gonna hire someone to just sit in the gym and wait for them to get done and then disinfect everything? No, it's not gonna happen.
Nope.
It's the best.
It's not.
It's best for it just to remain closed, and it's. I think it's funny that people are really upset about with you guys. Like, oh well, I pay for this. Like, no, we give you this. You pay for the 4 walls and the fucking door, and the key to get in there. That's what you pay for. That's interesting. Man.
It's so weird. And earlier today, we had that woman who let her child suck all over the playground, the day before we were closing it. Mm-hmm. She was just sucking on everything. Yeah, the woman came in today.
You mean like licking it?
No, I mean her daughter was just like at the playground, like sucking on the handrails and the bars.
Like a child would like suck on
yeah,
their hand?
like without teeth, like her lips were wrapped around it, and I was like, what the fuck am I? Woo! So I'm like, we're closing it tomorrow, right? Like, regardless of what our company says, we are closing it tomorrow. And my boss is like, yes, we're closing it tomorrow for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, good. The reason that we couldn't that day is because it was 15 minutes until we closed, and we saw her because we were closing the blinds to that particular window that's outside from the playground.
Yeah.
Oh man. So she comes by today and she's like, hey, I thought you guys were closed. And we're like, well, we're here, but we're asking for people not to come in unless it's an emergency type thing. But what's going on? Could you call us? And she's like leaning on the door frame and like holding onto the door and like touching as much shit as she can in her tiny area. And she's like, when's the pool gonna open? And I'm like, with this woman who's over here, like, I think people are responsible enough. And this woman with their child that's just slobbering on the world. Like, no, I don't trust anyone. Fuck that.
That's pretty funny, man.
She's also a nurse. And I'm like, shouldn't you be more aware of how this looks? Regardless of what you think, you should be aware of how it looks when your kid's sucking on everything.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's crazy.
So that's the wild work shit. Other than that, let's get into video games. About a week ago, Terraria came out. It's been almost 2 weeks. Terraria came out with a huge update. I've never played Terraria. I know of it. I was kind of interested in it, but then went, I like the immersion of Minecraft. I don't really care about the building of stuff. We'll see. And I've seen Terraria here and there. I watched a hardcore playthrough where when you die, you're dead. And that was super entertaining to watch. So I was familiar with it, but had never played it. Last weekend, I gave myself a 3-day weekend so that I could play this with Kyle and Sam and whoever else felt like joining, saw that we were doing stuff, and Tom, essentially. We had so much fun just playing it. The game gives you like randomly generated world names, and it gave us the climax of Shrimp.
Whoa, that's like, a really good name.
Right, yeah, I was like, yeah, man, this world's called the climax of Shrimp for sure, dude. You could also name yourself like anything, and it's not regulated. So I got to name myself Giant Fuckface, and I was so happy with that name because it turns out it says Giant Fuckface has like died this way. Giant Fuckface has killed the 100th zombie. So every time that Giant Fuckface pops up, I always forget what my name is because I don't see it displayed anywhere. And there's like Giant Fuckface did this, and I lose my shit every time. Very happy about that. But yeah, it's just been a fun fucking time. It turns out that it's a huge time sink. You have to do a lot of shit. Because for those of you that don't know, Terraria is kind of like a digging, mining, progress type game. Like you want to get the most shit, and then there are boss fights. I didn't know that there are like 20-ish boss fights in the game. I only knew about a few of them, and I heard that you can beat one of these bosses, and it turns the game onto hard mode. More so, it enters like the second phase of the game, and everything fucking changes, apparently. So we're about 30-ish hours in, ready to fight the wall of flesh, which turns it into hard mode. And I'm having a blast. It's just been so much fun. Done tons of stuff in it. Build homes for all the villagers, get them to be friendly with each other. There's a party girl, so she sells balloons and like special vanity type shit. It's fun. It's cool. It's weird. I didn't know that I would like it, and I'm having a great time. Opinions, thoughts? You like it?
I was looking up the artwork. I didn't know because I didn't know what you're looking at. It's a
side-scrolling pixel-based type thing.
I imagined it looking differently.
Exactly. That's why I never played it in the first place. Yeah. I wasn't super into the art style, and I felt like you really had to be into like designing your homes because that's a lot of the stuff that I saw shared on different forms of social media type stuff. Turns out it's a pretty fun side-scroller action game with heavy like exploration and collecting elements to it.
You gonna play again or no?
I've already played 30 hours. We're at the boss to turn into. Yeah, I know. I said that earlier while you were looking stuff up.
I was looking up Terraria. I was trying to
I know.
Hold on. Was this wasn't like in one day though, right? This is like
yeah, it was 30 hours in one day.
That's impossible, Trip. There's
I said
that's too many hours.
I said I had a 3-day weekend and I did fucking nothing except for this.
Did you clean your fucking apartment like you promised you would?
Oh, absolutely not. Are you kidding me? If anything, it looks better than it looked before because I've decorated it with cans of Monster Energy and Xboxes just all over the place.
Which Monster Energy do you drink? Which color?
Oh, you got to go classic. You know, you got to go with the Kyle Classic. Yeah.
Green, right? It's the best color. It's the best flavor. I don't even know what
best
flavor
color,
it is.
Best flavor. It's monster flavor. It's
it's what monsters taste like.
It's just what monsters taste like, dude. Don't worry about it. But no, I didn't do what I said I would do. I said I just played a fuckload of games. Other than that, 30 Rock update, because I've been watching through that. Those of you that have been listening to the podcast, you know. I forgot that James Franco was in it for an episode. And he plays himself, and he's in a relation. He is in a, I don't really know what to call it. a fake publicity stunt type relationship with one of the characters from the show. And they make an agreement and decide to do this to both promote themselves. James Franco is doing it because he wants to be seen in a normal relationship instead of a relationship with something that isn't normal, which we soon find out is his body pillow anime girl, Tomiko-chan. I was like, how did I forget about this? I've seen this show. How the fuck?
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, and it winds up with, he realizes he has to be true to himself and he can't, like, pretend to be somebody else just for publicity or whatever, just to look better in the public eye. So he's going to embrace his relationship with Tomiko. And then our main character, Tina Fey, she's also learning to accept herself for who she is. She had a whole different run. So she's, like, at this club dancing, and then he's there too, and then they like make eye contact and they're like, all right, are we gonna do this thing? Like, I think we are. We're just gonna be ourselves, you know? And then Tomiko-chan, like, the body pillow rolls up, so it's all three of them, and it just like smash cuts into the morning after and they had a threesome. It's so fucking good. That's how the episode ends.
Yeah. Tomiko-chan. This is 30 Rock, right?
Yep. It was a good time, dude.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
That is for sure the go-to.
It's like a real shitty body pillow. I love it.
It's like, it looks like it's printed on one of those like really like non-comfortable materials, you know? But it makes the colors really pop, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's one of those like kind of, you could scratch it and go like, you know?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to sleep with that. But hey, if that's what James Franco likes, you know, more power to him.
So now that we've gotten back into anime news, would you consider us the MILFs of anime?
The MILFs of anime?
Yeah.
No, because we are not mothers and we will never be mothers.
But we can change the meaning of MILF.
Okay, too.
I don't know. I've been brainstorming ideas. I think the best one that I've come up with is also the worst one I've come up with because it's only been one so far. But I was thinking male iridescent luscious freaks. That's us.
No, I don't like it.
Yeah, me either. I don't like it. Yeah,
I go back to the drawing board.
Okay, it's fine. Maybe we're just not the MILFs of anime, but I think that there's something in you that can make us the MILFs.
There's probably actually MILFs in anime. Like, they're like the actual MILFs of anime. I'm not... Okay, hold on. But there are probably two older women out there who have their own sort of like either YouTube channel or a podcast that are already the MILFs of anime, and we can't be stealing that from them. That's not who we are, man.
I like people to keep their own thunder, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also like really into stealing that one. I don't know, man. Just think about it. All I'm saying is think about it. We could come up with some good MILF stuff.
If you have a better acronym, like if you keep working on it, that one wasn't cut.
No, I know, and that's the point. You got to start real bad. You just got to get the worst out there, and then you got to hold on to the pieces that are good. And essentially, it's just still the beginning, the MILFs of anime, which is what we are for some reason, but we don't know why yet.
I'm not claiming it. That is not an Instant Ramen podcast stance yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Allegedly,
it's not yet.
Okay.
But it could be. Totally could be.
Could be, yeah.
What have you been up to? What's good with you? Tell me about your life.
Okay, well, I feel like I haven't done too much. I feel like I don't do too much every week because of the current situation.
Things are weird. You just sit around. That's why I'm like, I poured 30 hours into Terraria, and I'm like, that's where my day went.
I talked to someone at the gas station today. I've known her for years. She's at the gas station that's next to like Kyoto, and she's like, "Hey, where have you been? Why haven't you come and said hi?" I was like, "Because I haven't needed gas. I haven't needed to go anywhere. Why would I come get gas and just come in to say hi? When I don't need it." And she's like, "Well, what are you doing today?" I was like, "Fucking nothing. What would I do today? Like, I'm gonna go home. Like, what are your plans?" Like, nothing. I got food and I'm going home. Anyways. I think most of my paints came in. I think today should be like I should have my last set of paints for my minis. Yeah. And now I just have to wait for a day to be like cool enough for it to prime. To go with the spray can because if it's too hot, the shit will like won't stick right. It'll melt off. And on the can, and I've been looking around, it says like 70s is like the perfect temperature. And I go, cool. We're about to hit that time of the year where it's always like in the 90s and 100s, you know? So I gotta either wake up really early or hope for like a really cold day in summer to just it won't take long. Like it probably take like 10-15 minutes to get them all done. But yeah,
Trick
so
is
I'm waiting.
Do it all outside and then bring it inside.
Yeah,
really
obviously I'm gonna do it outside. I'm not gonna do it in here. That'd be stupid.
No. But what I'm saying is you got to do it super fast. That way it'll dry perfectly.
For sure. I'm thinking like probably do it at my parents' house, just because they have like a patio that has like a.
Yeah, they do have a patio.
They do have a patio,
man. So you never really think about when your parents have a patio until you need it.
Some parents have patios. Some parents don't have patios. I was blessed to have parents
has a patio.
Yeah, you haven't been to your mom's, so you don't know if she has a patio. But she's from Zona. She's a Zonian. She's a
Zoniac.
So maybe she has a patio. I had a couple of my high school friends came over to my house because Kenny is getting deployed to Qatar. And he's been in the military for a while now. He's in the Air Force, but this is his first time like being like active duty and being deployed somewhere. And it's because of the pandemic, his deployment day has kept getting pushed back. So it's really been fucking like his plans. Like he's like, because they all have to go together. They all have to go as a unit.
Right.
And like relieve the other units that's there. So the other unit's just still waiting for them to be like, to go home. So he's just like, they get pumped, they get super hyped to go. And then the like word comes from bro, like, hey, waiting 2 more weeks or whatever. So he's just like, ugh. So he wanted to come down and say like goodbye. So he came over to my place. And then my other friend, Tim, also came. He's here in town. And then Sierra invited Ryan, who wasn't invited, by the way. Sierra just told him and he showed up, that jerk. No, it was fine. There was just the 4 of us, and like we grabbed lunch and we played Dungeon Mayhem, which is like that card game. I think we've talked about it in the past.
We've talked about it.
It's really simple. It's really fun to pick up. You know, we played like 2 quick rounds. I won the first because I did the best. I do what I do best, which is like convince everybody to work with me, and then just kind of get rid of them when I don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
And then I played the second round, and then people just got rid of me because they didn't want to play with me anymore, which is fair. I got my 1 win.
Yep.
And then after that, we played Smash Bros. I borrowed. It was super weird. I don't have many like 2-player games for like the Switch. I have Smash Bros. And I was like, oh, I can ask my nephew if I can borrow his Mario Kart. You know. But then I was thinking, I was like, who do I call? Do I call my nephew and go, hey man, what's up, little buddy? Can I borrow your video game? So I called his mom with my sister, and I was like, hey, can I borrow your son's video game? And she's just like, well, why? What do you need? It's like, I have some friends coming over. They might not even want to play, but I just to give them the option of like another game. Yeah. And she's just like, yeah, sure. So like, I have to go over to her house and be like, hey, thanks for the video game. And I go, here's the video game he can play, like tradesies, you know. And I get home, and they didn't want to play it. They just wanted to play Smash Bros, which is fine. I got wrecked. Well, Tim's really good, surprisingly. And then Kenny was trash. I don't think he won once.
Doesn't surprise me that Tim's good.
Yeah, Kenny was doing a lot of Meta Knights, and he whenever he'd play like any other character, he would just like fall off the edge and couldn't like get back to the top.
Oh, I get it, like, man. It took me a long time to learn how to play Pichu without killing myself every single time. But after you're forced to play him 10 times in a row because of whatever randomizer actually does, you get used to it. So he'll come around, you know.
So that was
maybe
fun.
In Qatar he'll play some more and get good.
You know, yeah, he should just get good. He's a scrub. But then we just kind of like, you know, drank some beers and like caught up. We hadn't all been together in a long time. Probably since my wedding. And then like even at my wedding, it's not like we got to like sit together and like
exactly
catch up. It's like there's a lot of things going on. So yeah, it was cool. We just our 10-year high school reunions coming up next year, you know. Mm-hmm. And so we're all just like, hey, do you want to go? And I was like, and my stance always been like, it's not like I'm dying to go, but if there's an open bar and like free food, why wouldn't I go? You know, like it's not like I'm trying to hide from anybody.
So I recently was talking about that because I don't know if you do know this, being a year behind me.
I don't know this.
It is my 10-year high school reunion, right?
Congratulations. Oh my God.
During this pandemic. And I don't know if we would have even had one anyways, because there are like a couple of people that might have organized it, but I don't know who the fuck. So instead, me and a couple of friends are taking it upon ourselves to have a little mini high school Zoom reunion.
That's cool, man.
With just some select people. We get vetoes because we don't want it to be too big, and we're just doing it from our class because we were the last graduating class of the ACT program, which was just a
separate
it was like a weird special group of video editing type people.
Yeah, it was like a different program. ACT West. Was there one more, or was it just those two?
There was also AG.
Yeah.
I want to say there was another one that got canceled like right before we came. Anyways.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. How many vetoes do you get?
One. We get one veto each.
Oh, what if someone vetoes you?
No, people that are already in can't veto.
Oh, fuck.
Or
that's crazy.
Can't be vetoed, yeah.
Can't veto each other. Okay, cool. So,
because we're making sure we're cool with everyone, and we're like, all right, because there's some people where we're like, well, I wouldn't mind them. Like, I don't have any problems with them. We might not have gotten along that great back then. And like, there were some issues and falling outs after high school. But honestly, if they were there, I would be totally fine with that. And then somebody's like, not me, veto this fucked up thing you guys didn't know. And we're like,
you go,
cool, veto, fuck them, got it. But for the most part, our group is starting small. And it could get big pretty fast. But then there are other people, like Kyle, our friend, who he doesn't want to be a part of it because too many people doesn't sound like a fun time, and it sounds like it would get messy. Totally understand.
It could. What was I going to say? So you're saving your veto for your stepbrother or your former stepbrother?
What? No, why?
Because you got to use it on somebody. Who are you going to use it on?
I don't know. Nobody. Maybe.
I feel like you're wasting your...
Also, he wasn't in the program, so what the fuck is wrong with you?
I just figured he graduated the same year you did.
He graduated the same year, but he wasn't in the program.
It wasn't cool enough.
No, he ran away to Germany suddenly, and then he came back a year later, and I was like, I thought you were dead.
That's the most king hipster thing you could possibly do, fucking escape to Germany.
Yeah, I guess so. So, nah, I wouldn't veto him. I would just be like, just consider this, you guys, just so you know. I'm saving it, but I don't think he's worth it. And people are like, yeah, you're right.
Wow, that's funny. You're like, you're not even worth my veto. No one would even talk to you. He probably doesn't even know how Zoom works. He's probably so detached from the world. He doesn't know how to 100%. Hook it up.
I 100% doubt that, dog.
Let's see, what else? So like we were talking about that, like, and then we just started like, hey, all sharing knowledge of people that we know, like that went to high school together. It's like, hey, this person had a kid and this person's married and this person passed away, stuff like that, you know? And then Tim's just sitting there like listening to me and Kenny kind of go back and forth. Tim goes, wow, man, I'm really trying to like consider, like, do I fucking care? I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you don't.
Tim's what's up. Tim fucking gets it. Because like, I'm like... Sierra brought this up actually the other day, and I was like, "Wow!"
Was it Sean Brown?
Yeah, she was like, "Oh wow! I just learned that this guy from high school. You guys might know him. He was younger than you though. He plays Animal Crossing." And I'm like, "All right,
cool, yeah."
And then apparently Sierra knows like everything about him, and I'm like,
"Yeah,
cool." I don't fucking care about high school. I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, no, so that was like my final stance. Like, hey, well, if it's free food and free drinks, I'll go. But if not, like, well, then why the fuck would I? Why would I bother? I'd just do something like you would do. I'd like just meet up with my actual friends somewhere. Hopefully, we can actually meet up somewhere in that time.
Right? You know, like there are some people like Kenny who's got a whole life and stuff, and he's more difficult to get together with. But you guys still talk, you know.
Yeah, and it's not like deep conversation thing. The cool thing about like having like a friend, like good friends, is like. Yeah, sometimes you drift apart because like a life or whatever. But whenever you guys get to be together or like talk together, like if you just kind of pick up where you left off, and that feels great.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be hard. If it is, and then maybe your friendship isn't as good as it really is. As you thought. Like
whenever I meet up with Sho or Andrew or John Carlo, those are the kinds of people that I talk to, just not very often. And then when we meet up, it's like. Little weird for a second, and then immediately it's just like, all right, we're friends. Yeah, that's right. Just had to remember. So yeah. Hopefully, like if jitters, you guys do wind up, if this whole thing is blown over by then, I hope
so that was
a good time.
And then let's see other things I did this week. Sierra and I finished season 4 of Riverdale. We fucking powered through it, Trip.
No problem, baby.
19 episodes. I think we did it in like a day, and then maybe we watched like 2 episodes like the night before. But the reason Sierra and I were so invested is because this was the last season of Riverdale, right?
You have to.
And I was like, oh my God, like, the first half was absurd. It was just fucking, I've told you a little bit about it, but it was fucking insane. People are doing like, joining the FBI junior program. Someone's like killing a fucking cultist. Archie's starting a like a youth center and also wearing like a hood and doing vigilante justice. It's like crazy.
Dude, you remember when you were that age doing anything cool? And so was all of your friends. And
I jacked off a lot, and then I watched like a lot of cartoons. That was probably me.
Hey, nothing's changed.
Yeah. Except now I record while I jack off and then talk about
exactly.
it.
Yeah, the cartoons are anime, but you know.
So then the latter half was like this actual like story about like, you know, someone's dead and there's a murder mystery. And it's like, okay, cool. It threw me back to like season 1 of Riverdale that I really enjoyed, you know. And I was like, great, they're coming back to what their roots are and they're finishing it. And then like the last episode's playing and me and Sierra are like, wow, a lot of things are like open-ended. Like, what's going on? And I was like, this is the last season. And she's like, oh yeah, it's the last season. And so then I Google it and it's just like season 5 of Riverdale coming to January 2021. I was like, fuck this fucking bullshit. So there's more to watch. It's a
Sucks,
bummer.
Dude. I'm sorry that you have to watch more of a show that you're having a good time with.
I was having a good time because it was ending. I don't want more of it. There's no need for more of it. But they still have to graduate from high school and they still got to fucking solve the new fucking murder or whatever.
That's tough.
I started another show on Netflix called Black Summer. It's like about zombies. It's okay. It's like not the best. It's not the worst. It's kind of just a lot of me and Sierra yelling at the TV, being like, "Why didn't you close that door behind you? Like, fucking run!" You know, shit like that. And it's just like it always baffles me that like there are very few like zombie pieces of media where the people in the show are actually like capable, you know, and like it's just like people just love writing like, look how fucking feeble they are, look how stupid they are. They decided to go. It's like, and I mean, I guess that's just part of the genre. So it's just me and her yelling at the TV and like talking about it like in real life. Like, yeah, it's like if that were you and I, yeah, we would do this, but it's not like it really ever happened.
Yeah, well, the thing that sucks about that too is like there was a time and a place where that trope made more sense because people don't expect it to happen or whatever. But suddenly, sometime around 10 years ago, when zombies and vampires were incredibly relevant, vampires still remain this whole, you can do whatever you want with them, but zombies got like redefined into subgenres of infected and zombies. And if we're talking zombies, everyone's like, yep, easy. Really specific stuff that you gotta do, but everyone knows the fucking rules because there have been 1,000 zombie things, and we all get it. Infected, it's like, there are no rules. They're fucking crazy. It's a whole different thing. Don't fuck with infected shit.
And no one and then no one knows what a zombie is in those scenarios. Like,
yeah, but like, despite that, whenever it's a new piece of media, if they show that characters don't know what the fuck zombies are, I'm always like, I don't trust you yet. You have to prove your worth to me. Why don't people know what zombies are? Shouldn't most people? And then they introduce like a comic book nerd character and he's just like, fucking zombies. I know everything about them. I'm the knowledgeable one who didn't seem like he would be helpful, but I read comics. You know, stupid shit like that.
There was like a pretty good episode in this show where like people are stuck in the diner and they're sharing like knowledge. Like, yeah, they fucking, what's it called? Like they're susceptible to sound. Like they hear where you're at, you know, and then someone's just like, yeah, they're kind of like ants where they'll like, if they need to cross a river, they'll pack up on each other and like float over, you know. It's like, okay, cool. That's new. You know, someone's just like, hey, if you die, for whatever reasons, whether you're bit or not, you then come back to life, you know, as one of these things. So it's like one of those scenarios where it's like
well, you're finding out what it is at the very beginning of it, and that's fine. But if you're like, oh, this shit's going on, then you immediately address it for what it is, and you learn stuff along the way.
Yeah. So I was like, well, at least they're trying. It's okay. It's not like worth I wouldn't like recommend it to anybody like, hey, this is a great watch. But if you want like something like dumb and you want to just yell at the TV,
I usually want dumb stuff. Let's be real.
Check out. Yeah, check out Black Summer. This happened. This next thing I want to tell you is a story about Sierra that happened not this week, the week before, and I wanted to tell you about it on the pause because you said it was funny, but I forgot. But Sierra wanted me to make sure I told you about it.
Thanks, Sierra.
So the other day Sierra was walking Bella, and it was like trash day in like our area of like Chico, you know. So like there was a bunch of like just garbage trucks going around picking up like recyclables and like garbage and shit. And so Sierra's like she's almost home and she's at the corner, but Bella needs to like go to the bathroom, so she like gets a bag and opens it up and like ties it up, you know. And she's like, okay, cool. She's gonna go throw it away in the dumpster, but right then like a dump truck pulls up, like, you know, a garbage truck pulls up, and the guy leans out and just yells, toss it in, you know, like just chuck the bag of poop in. And Sierra's like, okay. So Sierra's like, I think she was flustered, or if she was just didn't calculate it right, but she just like chucks the poop and it goes straight up and then just lands on top of the garbage truck. Doesn't go inside, just lands right on the roof of it. And she's like, oh my God, you know, like, what do I do? And then the guy leans out, like, so Sierra starts walking, the guy leans out and goes like, did you get it? Like, is it in? And Sierra just like, yeah. She like goes to her apartment, and I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, oh my God, that guy's just driving around with poop on the top of his truck. Imagine him hitting the freeway and like the poop is coming off and hit somebody behind them. Oh yeah.
He was just trying to be a cool, helpful guy.
Yeah.
And Sierra just ruined like several people's days.
And I think it's because he was being helpful and like it was so like out of the blue that it just took her by surprise. She's like, I don't know what to do. So she just like, I was like, how high did you throw it? She's like, I just threw it and it went right up and landed on top of it. And I was like, that's fucking good. That's pretty fucking funny.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
But oh my God, that fucking sucks. I hate that.
That must have been so comfortable. Like,
if that happened to me, I would have panicked so hard. I would have been like,
what's she gonna do? She's gonna climb up there and get the poop down. It's like, no, it's up there. You can't do anything about it. What else? Oh yeah, so I wanted to tell you, my dad had to do his yearly physical, right? So he's diabetic, so like they do like a bunch of blood work and stuff. And they were like asking him like questions, and some of the questions were like, he felt like they're very careful with the way they ask it, you know. And my dad's not one for like minced words. Like he's like, hey, say what you want to say and I'll answer what, you know, however it needs to be answered. So like the questions were like, hey, have you been falling down recently? You know, like, have you lost your balance because of your age? And my dad's like, no. Like he goes, I did fall down last year, but it was because of all these other reasons. Like I don't think it's because of my age. I think it just slipped and I wasn't wearing the proper footwear. And I was like, okay, cool. Next question was like, hey, do you lose desire to do small things like, you know, like activities like to mow your lawn and like, you know, throw out the trash? Have you lost that kind of, you know, the little hobbies? And my dad being a smart ass, he goes like, well, I never mow my lawn. I have a man that I pay to do that for me. She's like, okay, well, like other things like going to work. When it's like, well, no one likes going to work, you know, like
that,
kind of being
honestly with that, I'm like, yeah, I don't have any desires to do household chores. I want them to be done, but I don't. No one's just like, do. Who's no stoked? Yeah,
I think the idea was like, hey, do you have like any hobbies you've lost interest in? Like, do you not like going on walks anymore or going fishing like you used to, you know? And then the next question was just like, this is the one that really killed me. She was like, in your older age, have you ever thought or had the inkling or maybe the feeling that the world would be a better place if you weren't in it anymore? And my dad goes, no, I've never wanted to kill myself. He goes, I think the world's great with me in it. You know, like I am very happy because like my whole life's been shitty and now it's good. So I don't want to die. And she's like, okay, cool. She's like writing that down. And when they're doing his blood work, he happened to ask like, hey, can you guys do like any of the virus, you know, the coronavirus exams? And he's just like, yeah, we can check you like if you have it or if you have the antibodies, you know. And he's like, yeah, cool, do the second one. Like, how much does it cost? Like, oh, it's like $50. Like, yeah, fuck it. Like, if while you're here, you know, while you tapped me, might as well grab some blood. So he did, sent it away. They sent him his results for all the lab tests, and they're all in like doctor language. You know, it's like glucose level and like a bunch of numbers and stuff. It doesn't just say like, hey, you got this. Yes or no, you know? So he's looking through them and he's like kind of frustrated. He's like, well, I paid for this thing and like I can't see it because like it's a list of all this like tests that they did. And he's just like, well, I'm gonna call them. And he calls the doctor and like they won't, like it keeps answering like leave a message and they don't get back to him. So he's like, fuck, I'm just gonna go and talk to them. So he goes in and like he's like, hey, can somebody just tell me if like what the results are? Like I really appreciate, like it put my mind at ease, you know, like and then the lady goes and comes back and she goes like, yeah, I don't know what happened, but it looks like we lost your blood work that we were sending to that lab. So like we just don't we took the blood to do the test, but it's just gone. And she's just like, so what do you mean? He's like, well, like we can do the test again for you, and we promise we won't charge you again. I was like, well, yeah, obviously, I'm not going to charge you. You're not charging me again for something that you guys messed up on. So he had his blood like taken again. My dad's convinced. He's like one of those guys. Like I'm convinced I had it. Like I was sick.
Yeah,
but he's one of the he's an older guy. He's like I was sick and I'm never sick kind of guy. And I was like, Dad, if by some I'm 100% sure like you did not have it, like without a doubt, right? It's like, but if by some miracle like you get a test and it says like, hey, you have the antibodies, like please let me know, because I would fucking lose my mind if that's an actual thing. Like that's some information I would love to hear, but there's no way. Like I'm like, Dad, you had like a bad cold like 3 weeks ago. You didn't have the fucking coronavirus or whatever. But he's just like, well, I don't know, man. I never get sick. You know me. I never get sick. I was like, okay, settle down. But that's just dads being dads.
Can't wait until it comes back and he did have it, but it was just like, I was pretty tired. It wasn't that bad.
yeah.
And you're like, what just the fuck? No, that's not true.
He was pretty sick, like I said, like a few months ago, and it was like he went home and laid down and he was like, lost appetite, which is interesting. My dad really doesn't ever really get sick too bad, but I think it's just, hey man, you're older now. Like you were younger, maybe your immune system's just not as strong anymore.
I used to get sick a lot.
Me too. I don't get.
I'm pretty good now. Anymore. Yeah, for the most part, I'm good.
Last few things, like this week I've been doing animations and stuff. I got a lot of work to do actually this upcoming week. And then I've been dealing with like setting up a GoFundMe for Gordo. It's been the most like frustrating thing ever. I understand that GoFundMe is like super busy, but I just want to get the campaign working. We had a campaign working originally. This is for my family's restaurant to help, pay some of the employees. And it got taken down and people got their money refunded. And that just, we didn't know why. It just kind of happened. So then like I contacted them. They got back to me after a bunch of bullshit, like back and forth. There's like, oh, it happened because of this reason. I was like, well, I can assure you I did that. Like I activated whatever the account was. And it's like, well, in our records, it didn't happen. It's like, okay, well, what do you do? So they helped me set up a new one, got that one going. And now I have to set up the withdrawal, which is like, so like the money will actually go to a physical place. It's not just held somewhere, And now like, it was back and forth, like with this guy, like, hey, you said you gave me a new password. It's not working. He's like, oh, just click on this link. It'll send you to this thing. And I'll click on the link and it sends me to like one of those, like, it's a GoFundMe page. It says like, there's nothing there. I just like, okay, this link isn't working. And I'm like, hey, this link isn't working. And he'd be like, okay, cool. Just use this link. And like, none of the links are working for like 3 days. Eventually I figured it out. Like Igor is the guy that's helping me with GoFundMe, and he's doing the best that he can, but he is doing jack shit. Like he is like not getting his shit done. So I was like, fuck this. I'm going to figure this out. So I figured it out, and I was doing the withdrawal thing finally. And then I was like, cool. I had to put like who I am. I had to put like my ID, like front and back, and like my address, my social. Like there's a bunch of steps, right? They had to put all the banking information. And I was like, cool. And they're all sent away to be like approved. And I was like, okay, cool. I have nothing else to do. So I wake up this morning and I just get a email from them. They're like, hey, like, this didn't work. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna deal with that later because I don't fucking know what to do. So GoFundMe is a great thing, but God, are they really they're testing my fucking patience. Like I just want it to work, and it's not. So that's been like a few weeks, but it's gotten really bad this last week, where it's just emails back and forth. And the most frustrating thing is like I was waiting. It's like I'm waiting for an email, and it popped up right when it happened. It was like Igor's like, do this link. Here's the password. It should work. These are steps. Like he bullet points for me to do. I was like, cool. I do all the things, and then it didn't work. So I instantly email him back. Literally like 2 minutes later, like, hey man, didn't work. This is what I got, and nothing. 24 hours pass. I get another email. I was like, you fucker. I just emailed me. I know you're fucking there.
So I don't understand how that shit works, because being the person that. In my office, for some reason, people check emails, but they don't do anything with them and don't communicate to the rest of the staff. So we have a pretty strict, hey, tell us if there's a new email and I'll take care of it right away. If I'm in the middle of something, it's good for me to know so that I could take care of that before I jump into something else that could wait a little bit. Anyways, I'm the only one that deals with emails, and I will respond to shit right the fuck away. And whenever I'm working with companies that are just like, we need you now, come on, dude. And I'm like, hey, this is a problem, like, get back to us as soon as possible. And then, like, 48 hours goes by, and they're like, really sorry about that. Here's what's going on. I'm like, where's your fucking community? You were so needy before. I don't understand how that works. Because for me, if somebody responds, I'm like, all right, here's some stuff. They shoot an email back, then, like, I'll respond within the hour, usually.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Yeah, so it's shit like that. So a lot of the times it was like we just waiting an entire day to get one email back. And it's usually like, oh, dude, my bad. Try this. And I go, okay. And then I'll let him know what happens. It's like, didn't work. And he goes, wait another 24 hours. So yeah, so that was like weighing on my head. And it still kind of is. Like it's still not fucking set up perfect. It's not complete. Like the campaign's up and it's working. But if I don't get the withdrawal set up within 30 days, it's just going to cancel the campaign and send all the money back again. And I go, well, at that point, what the fuck? Like, it's just like, and I get it. Like, obviously, GoFundMe is like super busy because like shit all over the world's bad. So like, I'm assuming they're super like either understaffed or like just super flooded. So it's like, I understand. I'm trying to be like understanding with them. But at the same time, like, fuck them. Like, I just want this fucking done. So I don't have to worry about it anymore.
There are very few resources to do something like that. And since there's such a prominent one and everyone knows them and can trust them, it's smartest to go with that kind of a company. And yeah, it sucks that you can't get it all up and running nice and easy.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the week.
Have we talked enough about shit? Do you want to talk about anime stuff?
I mean, kind of. I watched all the episodes of Glitmere that were out, I think.
Yeah, you caught up with it? There was a new one that came out a few days ago, I think.
I don't think... Okay, well, I haven't seen the newest one.
It's the one where after they fuse, it shows, like, what happens next after they do the big fight. One. I saw the big fight, and I saw him get, like, fucking pasted. Yeah, just like, hand squashed.
Yeah.
Like, motherfuckers.
It super reminded me of like Naruto, like that moment
sure,
where he goes like super dark. And it's funny because me and Sierra were like watching the show together, and it's like he goes into that weird like bunny mode or wolf mode.
It was like a shadow cat.
Yeah, that weird mode, and I'm like Sierra's like, oh, and she wanted to like, she was like, that reminds me of, and like I'm just kind of sitting there, and she's looking for a specific word, like I think it was like a character specifically, and I go, are you talking about like this Naruto thing? And she's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, okay, cool. I'm glad we both picked up on the same vibes. This show's fucking weird. Like,
I feel like it's very like, I sent you a meme today that was like anime watchers when they first watch it or whatever, but post to now, and it's that I'm pretty sure she's a K-pop star. She's drinking her like matcha boba, and then like looks at it and is all confused and like drinks something else instead. She doesn't like it as much. Yeah. So it was saying like ecchi anime at first when she was drinking it, doesn't like it, goes over to slice of life anime. It's
just like water, like a bottle of water.
Yeah. And I feel like that is exactly how I feel with Gleipnir, where I'm like, all right, there's tons of ecchi shit in here, and like I don't really give a fuck about any of it. It's not doing anything at all. I think it's just kind of there to be more provocative, because there are a lot of different things in it, like the violence and the different kinds of like issues that they're dealing with are more difficult things. So there's like, let's just make it like overtly sexual all the time too.
Yeah.
Why not? Doesn't need to be there, but it's fine. I think that they're doing it pretty okay.
Yeah, it is. It's like, it's weird. It's like they're doing it a lot, but it's like, I'm not going to say the word tasteful, but it's like appropriately done, I guess. Like it's like it's done, and it's not really bugging me.
But then again, if they handled it a little bit differently, like it doesn't need to be there at all.
No, it really doesn't. But I mean, it is, and like what can you do, right?
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
it's fine.
I've for sure seen like other ecchi shows that are just like way in your face. It's just like even more.
Yeah,
like, it's just like,
I mean, it's not like High School DxD, still like levels of it, but it's very like. They do try to be respectful of like aspect ratios and physics, I think. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Where they're handling it more mature in a way that's like, it's trying to show that this is a piece of the story and it's not just there to be sex, but it's kind of just there to be sex. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Watch it yourself.
I think especially with the episode where like she's like doing the ritual and like she's like gonna get like molested.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, okay, this feels like really uncalled for. Because for a second I was like, maybe her powers are activated through some sort of sexual act.
I also thought maybe there's some fucked up sex stuff in there that's going to do
happen.
some special thing. Nah.
No.
Very quickly it was like, I don't want to do this. And she's like, that's all good. Put on this necklace. Like, what?
Yeah, no. So it was really weird just because I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe it's like activated through some sort of sex act. And I was like, that's fine because this is a fucked up world. And like, maybe the power, like when she asked for her power, that's just how it's done. Right.
And we just accepted that too. Like, we
exactly.
didn't question it. We were 100% in like, yep. All right. Molest her and get the power stuff taken care of. Nah, molesting doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. Exactly. So when that happened, I was just like, well, I like the fact that she was just like, you know what? I don't really want to do this. And the girl's just like, cool. And she instantly stops because that's how it should be. Like in real life.
I liked that while it didn't need to like, because they have so many sexual things in there. While that whole thing could have been handled way differently. I like that she was able to say no. I don't like the fact that she's like, no, but I'm going to be a part of your secret group. And we're gonna share all of our secrets together. I was like, you don't do that with a person like that. Yeah.
I'm glad she was able to say no. I'm not. I'm upset that she was put in that situation, kind of thing.
Yeah, like, exactly. Yeah,
it's pretty fucked. But still, a really interesting show. I'm entertained at least. Like I'm curious to see what happens. There's some people who have some really fun. Wacky powers.
I want to see more people. People were losing. Apparently, people are losing their minds at every episode of the show based off of the comments that I read. But for this latest one that came out, people were losing their minds. Like, whoa, who'd have thought that this every episode is a new piece of the puzzle? And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, it's good. Like, I don't know. I feel like there are other things that have been a lot more revolutionary in the way that they unfold their story. And this feels a little bit more like, in like Hunter x Hunter, they have all these different scenarios that go on. This feels like just one of those. Like, hey, they're a bunch of fucked up people. They need to collect coins. So go ahead and do that in your little group, I guess. And you can form alliances if you want. Whatever. It's going to be violent. Who cares? Feels like it could be in Hunter x Hunter, but it's instead like very sexualized and better animated with more violence.
Yeah, and a pretty good intro and outro.
I do like that. It's on my Spotify playlist now. Woo, we there.
I will say I really like the scene where like he's in that weird like was it we said like cat form or whatever, right? And he like pulls out these two handguns, and I was like, what? Where did those come from? And I go, oh right, his mascot costume is a giant revolver. Like, why not give him two handguns? Who the fuck cares?
I love it.
The only thing Sierra and I were kind of like, what's the word? Disappointed with, I guess. With that last episode, again, not the most recent episode, the one that we were
the one with the boy who's got the mom and dad.
Yeah, the thing that we were like, that's kind of lame, or we felt kind of cheated, or maybe it was kind of cheap, was the fact that he gets instantly smushed, destroyed, and the girl's inside of her, which makes it fucking so brutal, right?
I was just like, man, that sucks.
That's fucking. It was so gross, and then like I didn't know if like, is this a real thing?
I was really happy that they got fucking crushed though.
I was like, is this genjutsu or is this really happening? Like, did our characters get fucked? Even though we know that in this world, like, you can get fixed, as his head came off, and he put it
does
back
explain on. Next episode you watch will kind of explain why they come back.
Yeah, that was the thing. That's the thing we were talking about. Like, I get that he like did the form, and then like he calms down and he stops. I had expected to be like, cool. I know our main character's not dead. Something's gonna happen. But I do, kind of in a weird way, I kind of hope that the girl that was inside of her is for sure dead, just because like, cool, there's some fucking stakes in this show. Like
right? We were just like, she's too nice. She's gonna die.
She's gotta go. Yeah,
she got. But now we know he has a new power.
Yeah, but then like at the end, like it's revealed that they're both okay, and I was like, lame.
So next episode is gonna give you more of the same feelings, but fuck camera guy. Like, I'm not saying our main characters are good people or anything. I think they kind of suck, honestly. Mm-hmm. But camera guy is the worst offender of everyone. He's feeling like entitled about shit, but he's not sharing his opinions with anyone. He's feeling like he's doing the right thing and seeing these people do so much wrong. And he's got all this jealousy and stuff. Just like, fucking talk it out. You're in this weird ass secret group of people that are supposed to share everything with each other. And you're keeping all these secrets and recording people. You're fucking filming people doing the weird shit. and you're not telling anyone about it?
Bro, that's like the last season of fucking Riverdale, bro. There's this camera guy out there making fucking snuff films. It's so topical.
But he has a reason.
Yeah,
this camera guy, he just sucks. I don't get him. You know, the guy who's making snuff films, he's making snuff films. Whatever he's doing with it, selling them, watching them, that's fine. But so far, camera guy is just recording them just to record.
I do really like the design of camera guy. I think it's hella dumb. He just got this fucking
a human with a giant old ass camera.
Yeah, I think it's so funny.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, but that's it. I watched Up Near. I don't think I watched the most recent.
Tower God is like a day or so late, God. I think, for some reason.
I haven't seen the most recent one. The last one is I'm still at the needles bit where they're fighting with needles.
Oh yeah.
No, after that one where they team up and beat the headmaster, the guy that's doing the exam.
Yeah, with a cube.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right, so you finished Cube episode with the super trader, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. I think we talked about it last week.
We did last week.
Yeah, haven't seen the new episode, but that episode was fucking sick. I love Tower of God. I'm having a great time with it. I want some more. I want to sink my teeth into it.
What animes have you watched?
There's also Wave Listen to Me. We have caught up with where the anime starts. If you remember, it was just fucking out of nowhere. It comes in and it's like, yeah, we're trying to escape a bear. Now we're fighting a bear, and we're also talking about our problems. And we've gotten to the point where she has been given scripts that say, so you're in an apartment and you're arguing with your boyfriend over the phone. Ad-lib the rest. And like, that's all she's given. So it turns out that this bear scenario, because so far she's just kind of like gone off of her own thoughts and opinions and stuff. This whole bear thing was a bigger section of what her radio show is. It had more guidelines, so it gave a better idea of what her program is going to be going on. But the guy who wrote it, who's been supposed to be doing this job, who really knows? We don't know a lot about him. We just know that he's supposed to be writing it, and he's just like, here's a vague scenario, ad-lib the rest. This one he put some effort into, and he gave like a really good structure for her to keep going off of and to ad-lib a lot of stuff, but in a like more cohesive way instead of just jumping from thought to thought. This one was a lot more of a show. Anyways, that guy, they were like, hey, you did a really good job. Why'd you do so fucking good suddenly? He's like, no reason. Anyways, that's the last one I'm going to write. I'm taking off. They're like, okay, fuck. So it's been fun. It's cool watching these characters get along more and more. Our main character has gotten this guy arrested twice. Once because she was like, holy fuck, this fucker's in my apartment. Like, we gotta, Then it turns out that she was actually drunk in his apartment. It was the whole thing. Then this next time she got him arrested because he was having issues, and they came there to do some reporting on it and figure out what was going on. They thought it was cursed by this spirit. So he tells this whole story about how his ex and him like got together, and then they wanted to make this like special moment where they first had sex. So they planned a location of Japan. They just like went to the closest national park that they could, and they were going to have sex there. And they threw a dart at the board, went to that park, or not national park. It was a like male female spas of Japan. So just all co-ed type stuff. So anyways, they finally went somewhere, and then something happened. She wound up like dying, and he thought it was some evil spirit that was there to get back at him for whatever. And it was a whole story. Anyways, it turns out that this blood gross stuff that was leaking from the ceiling was not a ghost. Instead, it was a chopped up body. So she got the guy arrested, thinking that he had stored the body up there. When she found it, she found like bags, and the bags were leaking. As it turns out, our trash character once again caused the situation, because when she first moved there from her little like village town, her parents sent her like a shit ton of meat she didn't wind up using. So since it went bad because they were sent way too much meat, she threw it down this trash chute, and it got caught. Or no, she put it somewhere weird. It wasn't a trash chute. Anyways, it got caught. It broke through this metal part, and it was on top of his roof, like between the panels in his ceiling. So this old rotten meat that was chopped up that they couldn't figure out what it was because it was so decayed. Turns out it was just her fault. So she got her neighbor arrested once again.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, fun stuff. And then we get to see the girl that was along for all of that situation and our main character become a lot closer. And it's just fun watching the different relationships kind of pan out and how stuff's going. I'm really into it, but it's definitely not that show where you tell people you gotta fucking see it. But the intro and outro are fucking, oof, they're so good. So yeah, that's all the new anime I've been watching. Watched a little bit more Sound Euphonium. We have 4 more episodes until we're done with season 2. And then from there, it's Liz and the Bluebird onto the 3rd Sound Euphonium movie, which is a continuation after the 2nd season. Just fucking, what a great time. Every episode I watch, it's like, I want another anime like this that gets me emotionally invested in the characters, that's dramatic, but also is very, very passionate. And it gives me a wide cast of characters to care about. Not just like the 2 that I care about from the beginning. Like, I'm going to bring up Darling in the Franxx. I didn't care that much about most of the characters.
Not even Goro?
No, I did care about him.
Okay. Cool.
I'm saying most of the characters.
Yeah.
Like, Goro's girl, I cared about her.
Hair clip chick.
Yeah, but I didn't care about the little one. I don't remember her name.
The girl with the pigtails?
Yeah, the little spunky pigtail one. And I didn't care about her guy. And I didn't care about that other guy that got together with the pregnant girl or whatever. I didn't care about him. So I cared about like half of the characters. And there was a pretty small cast. I didn't care about the parents' quotes. I didn't care about stuff like that. And then there's shows like Sound Euphonium, which just give you this huge cast of characters, 4 main with like a bunch of others that weave in and out. And you're like, yeah, I don't really know. And each character redeems themselves in different ways. Like, there's this huge bitch in the first season. She causes a whole uproar about the girl playing the trumpet solo, her senior that's like worked so hard and really inspired passion in her. Doesn't get the solo, so she throws a big old fit and is being a huge bitch about it. And is like, this girl doesn't deserve it. And then it turns out that she just loves her friends so goddamn much that she'll do anything for them, whether they like it or not. And that's her personality. So if you get close to her, she like wants to be friends with everyone. So the later that the show gets, she winds up being closer to everybody in the band. And she's just a really loving person that's too passionate about stuff. So it gives these characters real flaws, but it also shows how much they can make up for it. That being said, you don't wind up caring about her until some part in season 2, which came out years after the first season was out. So I don't know. I appreciate shows that are able to show you all these characters, be like, don't care about this one, or do care about them, but be like, fuck them. And then wind up creating a whole story that you wind up caring about for them, showing really strong personalities in different ways. So we got 4 more episodes left, and I don't want it to end, but we're probably going to watch it tomorrow, maybe the day after. I don't know, sometime soon.
It's good, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's many shows that I watch that have such a huge cast. Like, obviously, like shows that we watch have obviously like 2 main characters usually, and then you'll have like 2 side characters, right?
Yeah.
Or like a core 4, you know?
The core 4 is really common, but yeah.
Like the show, and this is a show that like I never even finished it. I think, no, I did finish this. Like Durarara had like a pretty huge
that
cast.
was a big cast, yeah. I cared about a lot of their stories too.
And the issue with that one was too is like it was that's like earlier in my like career of watching anime, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it was daunting to see like that many people. And then I think Sierra recommended Bakano to us at one point.
That also has a shitload of characters, yeah.
Massive cast. And I think that was just very like the cast was just really what's the word? I don't know, it was just, the size of it was jarring, so it was hard for me to be as invested. And it was an older show.
I think that a large problem with shows like that, where they do want to have these big casts that you care about, is that it is overwhelming because they don't introduce them in a good way. Like Runny Boys, Run with the Wind.
Runny Boys, yeah.
That was a pretty big cast, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like over 10 characters, plus all of their branching relationships, whichever ones you get to see. It also had not villains, but competitors and whatnot too, I'm sure. So there were a lot of different characters. Same with things like Haikyuu, where you get to know these enemies, you get to know these villains of the season, and wind up actually caring about them. And now you have this huge fucking cast. You might get a focus on 2 or 3 characters on the other team, but that's in addition to the 8 that you already care about on your main team, plus all the other ones that they have these connections with, where you're like, oh yeah, the people that, you know, they train with some of them after hours, or this guy's learning how to do the float shot, and he's got his 2 homies that are a little bit older. Stuff like that. Float surf, whatever. Anyways, it's hard when a show doesn't introduce them in a slow, methodical way. So Durarara's whole point was keep the viewer really fucking confused until they get used to everything, and then start revealing what's actually happening. So by the end of the first season of Durarara, you're like, what the fuck? That was wild! But it was a reveal aspect to it.
Yeah. Especially with the like the chat group, you know, you're just like, who the fuck is this chat?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And it turns out to be like all our main characters. I'm like, oh fucking, of course it is. I'm so dumb, you know. But I was like, good shit.
But none of them know who the other users are. Person is, they just know them by their username, and they know each other by their names in real life, and they're all part of the Dollars. And you would have never fucking known that the Dollars was actually doing this whole thing, and who was in charge of the dude. That show was fucking great.
It's a good show.
And then season 2 happened.
Yeah, I should rewatch it. And then I should watch season 2 because I know how much you love it.
So you want to talk about the news?
Yeah, let's do the news.
All right, cool. I don't have a ton of things this week, just some short little fun facts. So a Certain Scientific Railgun T is going on a long hiatus. The 16th episode was the last one for a while, I think. Or no, the 16th episode starts July 24th. So those of you that are a fan of that, we checked out a Certain Scientific series. Wasn't for us. But
I kind of liked it. I think I'm going to do, what's the Index? That's the
you're going to do
right?
Index, yeah.
I think I want to try it. I like that character, so.
Yeah, but you weren't a fan of the scientific railgun, right?
It was, it had his ebbs and flows. It could have been super cool. It just wasn't like the best. It was it's like, what's the word? What's the one? Full Metal Panic Fumofu, right? Uh-huh. It's like it could have been that, but it just wasn't. It was just something different.
But yeah, man. Anyways, I hope you check out Index and tell me how it is.
I mean, I might. There's like, I'm running out of like, there's not any other animes that are airing, so like, I think that one might have a dub I can just probably check out. I know that I've been finishing other stuff. Like I finished rewatching The Last Airbender because I was like, oh, this is on Netflix. I got to see it. I haven't seen it in years, and I got through all of it. I was like, that was fucking great. And then I started Legend of Korra, and it's so weird. I think CBS picked up the first 2 seasons at some point when it was first aired for streaming because that's where I'm watching it, even though it was aired on Nickelodeon. So I have CBS All Access for Survivor, and I'm watching Legend of Korra. And then if I want to watch the other 2 seasons, it's on Prime, but Prime through Nickelodeon. So I was like, maybe I'll just stop there. But
that's crazy.
I don't know. I feel like,
I mean, the 3rd and 4th seasons are the best seasons in my opinion. So, that's rough.
I like season 1 a lot. I just think that
I do too,
and ended very abruptly. Season 2 is probably my
season 2 is definitely the worst of the 4, but I honestly like all of them. A lot of people have like they throw huge issues about season 2, and I'm like, yeah, all of those are valid points, but that doesn't make me like it that much less. I just had less of a good time. I mean, whatever. But it did so much good setup for season 3. I thought it really expanded on the world. 2nd season had the episode about One, right?
One, it was like 2 parts about like the first Avatar, which were really cool. They're like different styles.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show like a few times. It's good.
Yeah, no, it's a really good series just as a total. Like I was talking to Kenny when he was over, and he's just like, he was telling me his daughters are watching The Last Airbender. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. What a great show to watch. I mean, they're pretty young, but it's like, hey, it's
still
TV, it's moving. And I was like, dude, they should watch Legend of Korra too. Like, I told him about it. He goes like, yeah. It's like he said, hey, I just found out Legend of Korra is 4 seasons. It's like I thought there's only 2. It's like a lot of people think there's only 2.
Fuck you, Nickelodeon.
Really fucked them. Yeah. And I was like, you should have him check it out. Like, I feel like it's not as good as Avatar: Last Airbender in my opinion. It's still really good. I think like visually it looks a lot better because it's newer. But yeah, it's like, you know, Cour as a girl, he has daughters. Like, she's a great role model. I was like, yeah. I mean, obviously she's not perfect to begin with. She's kind of like really brash and shit, but she grows and becomes like more mature, like, which is always like a good thing when you see a character grow.
Yeah.
So I need other things to watch. So maybe I'll get to rewatch 2 Hour Rock, or maybe I'll watch Parasyte the maximum.
Is that how we got onto that? No, you're watching A Certain Scientific Index.
That's the one, or that one. There's so many things I want to rewatch.
Anyways, the Kyoto Animation Arson Suspect is set to be arrested on May 27th. Now you might be like, why the fuck hasn't he been arrested yet? They had severe burns from the arson attack.
I thought that person died. I thought they'd also died from the fire.
And they've been in the hospital and still are. So they never wound up dying. They were just in critical condition. And because of the whole pandemic, it's been strongly like delayed. So
yeah, that makes sense.
May 27th, that's today, baby. Because the episode goes up tomorrow. That's today, baby.
Cool. Fuck that person. Okay. I know he probably has some reason or something, but I don't want to fucking hear it.
I don't care.
Whatever. There's no excuse for the atrocity they committed. So he deserves I mean, I don't think they do the death penalty in Japan, but he deserves to be in prison for a very long time. Fuck him. So.
Yeah, terrible.
Or her. I don't know if it's a girl. I just fuck that person.
Next up, we do have another delay. The second cour of Haikyuu to the top is delayed for a bit. No date right now, but yeah.
This is the first delay that actually really bums me out. Like, there's another delay. Yeah. So it's like, this one fucking kills. Like, I did.
I know, because it ended at a really good point where you're like, oh my god, we have to see what's coming up because we have focused so much on learning this last season. We got to see it all happen.
What's really fucked is that I don't even know if I forget stuff all the time. I don't even know if I remembered if there was going to be a second part to this,
You did, yeah. It ended in a, like, hey, the next battle, man. That's how it ended.
So the thing is, like, so your news was literally, like, hey, there's going to be more
exciting.
over the top.
Yeah.
And it's delayed, which really fucking kills. That sucks, dude.
Sorry.
But it makes sense. Shit's tough for everybody around the world, so if they need to take a break, take a break.
Next up, Non Biyori Season 3 will air in January 2021. So we're just rolling smooth for another several months. And then we'll get to watch our third season of country girls doing country things.
Dope. Okay, I was trying to remember what Non
I know.
was.
I can see your expression, and I'm like, I got this.
Like, that sounds
Other people
familiar.
are out there, and they're doing the same thing you're doing. Like, I know I've heard of it, but...
Do you think that this is going to be like Non Biyori Season 2, where it's like, it's still in the same time. It's just others. It's like it's happening the same time. It's just things we didn't get to see.
I kind of hope it does. I think that's a really cool. No. I'm with you with that though. Like I hope it does because it's a cool thing that they're deciding to do. Because the problem with things like The Simpsons is that it feels so suspended in time. Bart has been 10 for 1,000 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But Non Biyori is like, all right, here's the workaround. We have the same kind of shit like going on each season at the same exact time. We're just seeing different things that we had never seen before. And I think that that's a really, really cool way to get around stuff. That being said, if we got another year, I'm fucking stoked. They all grew up. That's cool.
I just, it makes sense, especially because of the type of show it is. It's a slice of life. And then on top of that, it's a slice of life that shows us life in the country, right? And so, like, what's a better example of being like, hey, like, you're getting more episodes, but it's all happening at the same time. And, none of it really matters because everything's super chill. Everything's the bus will get here when it gets here kind of vibes. And so that's why I think, like, if they did, if season 3, when it comes out, like, if it were like, hey, it's still the same time. It just other things you didn't see. I wouldn't be surprised. It would be really cool for there to be like, hey, you've all gone up one more year. Because then they could do like a season 4 and then do the same thing they did with season 2, right? Like, to prolong it.
Exactly. I think that could be cool. I don't have any problem with that at all.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm just interested to see what they decide to do with season 3, how they're going to tell their story.
The show just blew me away when it started with like a few jokes. I was like, yeah, I'm 100% in. Like, by the end of the first episode, finding out that they were in a country town is like, what the fuck? So
When's the
funny
next
with their
bus?
stupid flute.
Yeah, when's the next bus? An hour. Oh, it's life in the country.
It's so fucking good.
That and the fucking raccoon.
Yeah,
That was
they killed
so
me.
good.
I was sold. I was just like, yeah, this show's got what I need, baby.
It's a good show, man. There's a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
I love it when shows are able to still be funny, like remembering those jokes. Like, oh, good times.
Did you watch season 2 or nah?
I watched about half of it. It's still on my watch list. It's pretty much for those like pick me up vibes. I haven't needed those in a while, so I feel like I'm just kind of sitting on it, and that sucks. But I will watch the rest of it by season 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's easy to watch. Like it would just be me sitting down and being like, "Oh, it's over now." So
that's funny.
Anyways, Jujutsu Kaisen is to premiere in fall 2020. Studio that's making this is MAPPA, and I don't know if you've seen the trailer for it. Trailer just dropped. It looks like it's gonna be your shit. I don't know for
Which one's
sure.
this?
Jujutsu Kaisen. Essentially, it seems like a bunch of super edgy, like eyeball flesh monsters and stuff, and they're fighting the fuck out of each other, and it's violent. It looks like a weird survival thing with a lot of like mystery horror elements.
Jujutsu Kaisen. This guy got like a weird, like, he's like a blonde top. Is that what you're looking at?
I think. I don't remember what the trailer looks like. It's been a little bit since I've seen it, but...
All right, man. I'm playing the trailer right now. Live reaction. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I mean, you can keep talking. It's going to play in the background.
That was everything I had. So we're getting into our topic of Parasyte. It's fine, man. Parasyte live action. We got to talk about it. It's great.
Yeah, this looks interesting. I'll for sure watch that trailer later. Yeah, cool. So this week's topic, live action garbage. We haven't done this in too long, I think. Actually, the last one we did was Inuyashiki.
Yeah, it's been over a month, right?
And we ran out of something to do. No one gave us a new show to watch.
Don't worry, next week, both. We're watching Dorohedoro. So that's coming out on Netflix. Watch it with us. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's watching the live action Parasyte, the Maxon Part 1 movie is good because like the anime just got dropped on Netflix. Yeah. It's like readily available. If you listened earlier, I was talking shit about how Adrian doesn't know that you can play it in English, so it's there, and it's like it's something I actually want to rewatch after watching this movie. It makes me want to go back and watch that show because
there were parts that I didn't remember as well. Overall, it's a pretty good show, but I'm not feeling like I need to see more.
I want to at least, what the thing is, I really like the first half of Parasyte. The second half, when he's like really gloomy or whatever in the show, because he's like losing his humanity, he's becoming more of an alien or whatever, wasn't my favorite thing, but I remember really enjoying the way it ended. So
I think I liked the second half, except for the moments where it felt like, all right, well, this is being dragged on too long. Like there was too much talking back and forth between the people that have been infected by parasites and the ones who are living with their parasites.
With parasites, yeah, I feel that. But that being said, this is our topic, right? Live action.
It sure is. Live action garbage. Parasyte Part 1, Part 2 TBD. We'll decide if we're gonna watch it together or just you're watching it on your own.
Well, it's funny when you recommended it or like suggested it. I was like, of course we watched that, and I had to go through a list. Like, no, we haven't watched that. I was like, I think maybe we talked about watching it one day, and then we found out it was 2-part, and we're like, you know what? Let's not watch this.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what the factor was. It was like, oh, there's two chunks of it, and at this point, whenever we talked about that, we had only watched really bad live action garbage, and I was just like, man. Remember, I was like, "Fool, fucking Death Note 1 and 2, well, those were okay." But there was like, was it Attack on Titan had a part 1 and 2, and we couldn't even get through like part 1 really. Where it's like, God, I don't know if we could do the second.
It was
part.
rough. Yeah, there are some times where 2 parts is not worth it at all. But getting into it, this is a show about a family in Korea.
No.
Okay,
wrong one. You watched the wrong movie.
This is one. It's Parasyte with a Y. That's the one we're talking about. Okay, great. This is one that is an adaptation of the anime and manga. It's directed by Takashi Yamazaki. He has most recently done Lupin the Third, the First, and Dragon Quest: Your Story. and then it stars Shota Sometani, and he has not been in a whole lot of things that we're aware of, except for March Comes In Like a Lion and The Boy and the Beast.
So first talking about the director, he's doing that's the Lupin the Third. The first is that 3D CG Lupin movie that I really want to fucking watch. Not because I'm a huge Lupin fan. I like Lupin. I haven't seen enough Lupin to be like it's the end all be all, because I know people are super huge into it. Yeah, and I know you watched the Ghibli Lupin, so you're like pretty like not into it.
Yeah.
But that CG movie,
it looks clean as fuck, but it also looks like that Dragon Quest Saint Seiya style.
Yeah, which I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah, I like that animation style, honestly.
For a long time,
it reminds me of the latest Zelda remake. Oh, what's it called?
Something about wind, something about wake, something about water.
No,
ship,
no,
storm. Anyways, winds. I think it's winds. Something about winds. Breath of the Wild. Nailed it.
No, that's not a remake.
I don't know. This is like Ocarina of Time.
No, but you're getting closer. It was the Game Boy game. Link to
the Past.
No.
Okay, well,
fuck it.
You can look
I'm terrible at this. Yeah, I could.
But what
I'm
I was
not
trying
going
to say is that for a very long time, like that style of like animation that we would see in like video games, I always wondered like, why don't they just fucking make a movie out of this? You know, like the intro cutscenes to like Smash Bros.
Yeah.
I was like, these look really good. Like I would watch a whole movie, like a TV show. This, and it was like, so when I saw the Lupin, I don't know anything about Dragon Quest. So
why not?
When I saw that, I don't know. I've never played the games. So when I saw that visually, like on Netflix, like, oh, that looks like the thing I've always wanted. And then Lupin came out, this Lupin trailer. I don't know if it's actually out yet, but it looks fucking great. And I've been seeing people online like break down the animations for it, like, you know, frame by frame, and like, hey, look at this. Like, even though it's 3D, it still has a lot of 2D like
it does
concepts. Yeah. So that guy, so far from the stuff that he's directed, I'm like, yeah, man. Because believe it or not, I actually really liked this movie. It was pretty good. Fairly enjoyed myself. So I'm interested to see, now that I know who he is, I'm interested to look more at his work.
You know what? Just for fun, do you know who Bump of Chicken is?
I do not know.
Well, they have done some intros and outros that I'm sure you would be aware of. Anyways, he did a documentary on them.
On
Bump of Chicken.
Bump of Chicken. Okay, yeah. Bump of Chicken.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I think that they've done like Naruto or Bleach or some shit like that openings, and then they've also done other ones that we've seen and are familiar with.
They're a band. It makes more sense. Like,
that's
who
what I said.
Company Bump of Chicken.
Yeah, they've done intros and outros to stuff.
But I thought you meant like intros and outros, like they've done like the visual animations of it. Like,
no, it's a band that does. Yeah,
like it was like a studio Bump of Chicken. Ever heard?
I'm with you now. Yeah, their shit. So did a Bump of Chicken documentary as well.
Cool.
Anyhow. Yeah, the main character though, Shota, he has done March Comes In Like a Lion and The Boy and the Beast. The live action March Comes In.
Live action.
Yeah, but the animated Boy and the Beast, because there is no live action.
There's a live action Boy and the Beast.
But here's the thing. So imagine the main character from Parasyte, the anime, and then change him, make him look a little bit more like an outcast and more meek, I think. And then that's how you get the character from the live action movie.
Mm-hmm.
And now make him fat and give him straight hair in a bowl cut kind of thing.
Yeah.
He plays the friend in March Comes In Like a Lion. The one.
No way.
Yeah, he plays the fucking chubby kid.
Hold on.
I know.
Okay, hold on.
His name is Nikaido. So it's Nikaido, Harunobu. I know you're looking this up right now. So
what was the last part? The H what?
Harunobu. So Nikaido Harunobu.
Okay, and then he just do live action.
Yeah.
Right? This is gonna. Oh, okay.
Dude, it's crazy.
I thought. Oh my!
I know,
God.
Doesn't it?
No,
because you're like, yeah, that's the same guy. But is he in a fat suit or is he fat?
He's in a fat suit. I know, There's no way he's that fat.
But
I'll tell you something, man.
His
I thought
hair.
when you said that he's in the March Comes In Like a Lion, I was like, oh, cool, he did the March guy. Yeah, I can see that.
No, but then when you see the picture of March guy with him, you're like, yeah, that's a good March guy.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, so March comes in like a line. Yeah, so to be really honest, I actually really a lot of the times when we watch something that's live action, we complain about like them getting the story wrong or like the acting being poorly done.
Nah, I think that they did pretty true to all of that shit.
I think that the story was pretty, to my knowledge, because I haven't seen Parasyte.
I think they changed like some settings and stuff, but like who cares?
A few things, yeah, but nothing too crazy.
No.
So that's what. So I give it like a hey, good job on that.
Yeah.
But honestly, the main character, I think like his acting was like very convincing.
Yeah, that's why I went through like everything he's done. I'm like, has he been in any other live action things? Because he probably should be. So now that makes me feel like we do got to watch this. March Comes In Like a Lion as our next live action garbage.
Oh, Jesus, man. This March Comes In Like a Lion guy's killing it.
I know. It's fucking nuts. Christ.
Oh, damn it. God, there's so much live action stuff we should watch. One day we'll have to, by default, watch.
We'll watch it eventually, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the main character did a really good job of, like, acting appropriately. Sometimes, like, people do, like, they'll be over the top. Like, I'm sad, I'm depressed. Like, there's a scene, and quickly, we're going to spoil this just because this is a show that's been out forever.
It has been out forever. What I can tell you is, definitely check out the anime. It's pretty solid. Now that it's on Netflix, it's more accessible than ever. You could convince your homies that aren't as into anime to watch it, because I feel like it starts out and it's just fucking weird, and that weirdness keeps you there. But it's not like anime weird. It's just kind of a supernatural suspense horror kind of weird.
Yeah, I think it's a good description. But what was it? I don't know. We were talking about his acting. Sorry.
Yeah. So anyways, we will spoil stuff. You should check it out. If you are interested in watching the live action one, I don't think that spoilers are that much of an issue, but if you want to check it out, this is one of the better ones. I mean, it's no Train Man. I think Train Man is just top tier. Watch some live action Japanese stuff.
Like an actual movie that's not based off a manga. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It is based off a manga.
So no, what I want to say was that there's this bit where like he's in a fight and like he gets like really fucked, right? Like I think he gets killed. Like in the show, he like dies or whatever. I'd never seen someone die so good. Like I was like, oh, look at this fucker
he just fucking died.
Tentacle to the chest and then just plop on the floor. And then like when he wakes up from after being recovered and like Migi like saving him or whatever, like I was like, whoa, like this guy isn't totally fucking this. Like I believe him that he's been laying on the floor for several days in his own blood that is now like, coagulating.
Well, they like glued him to the ground. It's hard to fuck up that acting.
I thought it was so great. Like this guy did an amazing job, and I would like, I was like pleasantly surprised. Like one of our highest rated live action anything is Erased, the Netflix series, and it's because the kids are such good actors.
Oh yeah, it's the acting that sells it 100%. Like Anohana is pretty high up there because they captured a lot of like the sets and the kind of like feeling of the town, but not necessarily the characters, the acting, or the feeling of the show.
They might have made the characters like look a lot like the characters in the show, like the anime, but I was just like, yeah, but you just put on the right outfit. Did they really embody, the characters?
It was like top-notch cosplay. And that was it. So that gets some merit for like being so incredibly true to the looks and the sets and all of that.
The detail. Yeah.
Very detail-oriented, and then they gave up with the acting. Or this
acting.
Maybe we shouldn't shit on the acting. Maybe it's the writing. It's something fell apart. But then there's this, which I feel like is firing on all cylinders. It's kind of just doing its thing, and it's good.
Yeah, no. So that's really that was my biggest like compliment to give was like, dude, these actors are doing great. Like even like not just like the the main character, like
all of the villains felt like they were really good. Yeah, the mom.
My mom was really good. I don't remember her being that old in the series, but maybe she was. I don't recall. But
the girlfriend, there's like girlfriend, but the romantic
the friend that is a
character.
Girl. Yeah, she was good. But the other people, like the other aliens, like the parasites, like the one that's a teacher, and then she has like Mr. A, and then like the other student.
Yeah,
like, those guys were dope. I really liked the other student because I remember him being in the show and being like that Barry. Like it felt.
He was just primal.
Super hot boy, right? But like very fake.
Yeah.
And no one else saw it. Cause like, oh, he's just super nice. Like, no, that guy's a fucking monster. And it was great. Like, there's the bit where he gets the hair pulled from his head, and he's just like counting all the people he's got to kill. And I was like, I'm so scared, like for them. Like, I was
Dude,
like,
that
it
was
felt
yeah.
visceral.
I was watching that while I was playing Terraria. I was fishing in Terraria, which you just listen for a little like boop, and I was good to go. So I was watching that, and Kyle was in the chat too. And I was just like, oh man, I'm about to watch a bunch of people die. I don't remember the scene, but I think they all die. And then I'm like, oh shit, yeah, she got cut in half. A lot of people might die. And then everyone was dead in the hallway. And I'm like, yeah, this shit was brutal.
Yeah. Well, no, like even like the opening bit where I remember like one of the most memorable opening bits from Parasyte was like, I think even it was like in the trailer, like teaser trailer, is just like the husband and wife walking up to each other, and like I don't remember if in the show it was the husband or the wife, but like it opens his mouth super big and it's like
Just fucking
devours
chomps,
the head. And I was like, I remember seeing that the first time, be like, I don't know what that is, but I gotta watch all of it, And they did a really good job of recreating that in the movie. It wasn't as like clean just because the CG is, I don't know, like
it's older.
Not perfect. It's older. It's not super like it's not on the levels of like your Avengers stuff, like the stuff that you would see in the United States. But for being like Japanese CG, is passable, like really good. Like at points,
this
movie
movie was
like,
made in 2014. And even now, like watching things from back then, you could definitely like tell what is real and what isn't. Unless it's part of the background, because nobody could ever tell that shit. But
yeah.
I feel like the animation style, for the most part, fit really well. Like, that first biting the head off, that looked a little bit more fake. But then when you see, like, Migi, the hand, walking around, that looked good. Anyways, for those of you that don't know the story of this, parasites come from fucking somewhere in the sky. They land, they normally crawl into people's heads and go into their brain, destroy it,
devour the
take
brain,
it over, and then they take over the body and can control it in crazy ways, turning it into a super hard weapon and like ripping off parts of your face in order to create new tendrils and stuff like that. Anyways, that's the basic premise. Their whole purpose is to get a host and occupy the planet, more or less. But they don't have like any real thoughts. They're essentially creatures that can learn and develop incredibly fast. So our main character, he's wearing headphones, tries to go in through his nose. He freaks the fuck out, throws it from his nose, and it climbs into his palm. And then he wraps his headphone cord around his arm in order to keep it from going up any further. And then it stops there. It devours his arm from the elbow down, and it has become its own sentient creature that this has always been stupid. He now decides to live with, instead of like cutting off his hand or destroying it. Cause I feel like it's already gone. I'm not going to feel any pain. I'm getting rid of this fucking thing. And it's not like in the movie he threatened and was like, I'll fucking kill you if you do this.
Yeah. Yeah, in the movie they did a good job of explaining, like, he's like, well, why don't I just? At first it was like, why don't I just get rid of you? And he goes like, well, you'll lose your arm. Arm's gone, right? Like,
it's already gone.
Conclusion. Yeah, but I think there's later on like some time elapses, not too much. He's like learning to live with the arm, and he's like he's arguing with it again. He's like, why don't I just fucking get rid of you? And Migi's just like, I'll fucking kill you. Like,
at that point they do that.
And it's because Migi has gone to the point where like he's learned. He's like, look, obviously I'm a parasite. Like I live off of you. I can't live without you. So like if you're going to do anything that's going to harm me from living, then fuck you. I'm going to kill you anyways. Right. So,
but I'll like kill anything that's going to kill us. It's a very like, I'm just here to survive kind of thing, where other people are like, we're here to kill everything and keep living and overtake. And that's it.
It's a symbiotic thing that they're really doing. The parasite's like, yeah, this is a situation. He's like, yes, I was going to take your brain. I was going to control your body. I failed. That didn't happen. This is where we're at. We can either work together or we're just going to both die.
So then they work together and it makes sense.
Yeah. And there's, like we said, like the other parasites, like we don't know where they came from, but a lot of them just have this drive to like assimilate into society and somehow continue to like to grow and stuff. And some of them are really like just driven by like violence and like just want to kill and eat stuff because they eat other humans. And then some of them are like very like, I don't know, like curious. Like Miki's very like he wants to learn more. There's a girl that's a teacher. She's like experimenting on like I don't know like what's going
She's
on.
doing
I'm gonna learn
weird
as much
shit. Yeah.
She like has sex with another person that's also a parasite, and she's like, I'm pregnant now. Like, you know, what the fuck's gonna happen? He's
Well,
like,
dude,
who knows?
spoilers.
Let's see. Come on, bro.
Anyways, that's what part 2 is after she's pregnant.
But it does happen in part 1.
It does.
Her wanting to experiment just with anything, and she's, I feel like more cunning and more like at a different level.
She's very calculated with everything and isn't like, yeah, let's just fucking kill to survive. And like anyone that does us wrong, let's kill him. She's a little bit more like, no, we have to learn a lot. And the more that we learn, the more that we could accomplish.
Well, I was thinking about it. Just because like just in general like the movie's going on and like somebody says like well what's the point like because like Migi is shocked when he sees that there is a parasite that is like running for political office of some sorts, right? Like I don't know if he's like mayor or district leader or something, you know. He's like Migi's just like talking to it with the main character, and he's like spindling out because he's like so like excited or enamored with like what's going on with his kind of like race or whatever.
He's like, whoa, this is crazy.
He's like, is it possible? Are we going to be able to take this over the entire world? And I was thinking about like, well, like he made a point that like how can the parasites like eat humans? Like that's fucked up. And he was like, well, you guys eat like cows and pigs and fish and like even the plants. Like, so what's the big deal with us eating you guys to survive? You know? And he's saying like, and then it brought my head the point like, well, like say they do take over the entire world. Are they going to start eating each other? Maybe they're going to do like a fucking, what's it called? Promise Neverland, where they keep some of them and grow humans like cattle. Like,
dude. Okay, hang on. Talking Promise Neverland really quick. Somebody who is reading it ahead of time, like reading just chapter by chapter when it comes out in Japan and getting it translated or whatever, spoiled a huge fucking thing on Twitter. Like the chapter just came out and they shared it on Twitter and were like, man, look at this fucking wild shit. I'm like, why would you ever like what? It was the biggest spoiler. It's way more of a spoiler to me than what happens in the first season of the anime. Like if I told you anything that specifically happened in the first season, if I told you like all of Sister Crone's story arcs. No. You already watched the first season. I'm also not telling you anything. If I told all of her story, which you get to see in the first season, you would be like, man, that fucking sucks that was spoiled for me before I even got a chance to see the show. Instead, this person's just like, yeah, this is like the end of the manga and I'm spoiling it. This is like essentially like you read through that last chapter and you're like, fuck, Dumbledore dies. And then you're just like, look at this, Dumbledore's fucking like for real 100% dead. I'm like,
did you voice your
no, I was too mad. I didn't, because if I say things, then other people that follow us on Twitter might be able to see that conversation and get huge spoilers. I'm like, no, I should report it for sexual content.
That's funny. Anyways, sorry that happened to you, Trip.
Yeah,
but what I was getting at was
triggered me, man.
That the movie at least is thought provoking. Like it does like make me like, it wasn't just like turn off your brain and like it was like I was like, oh cool, I'm watching this.
But also it was like, since you already knew the story, it was kind of a turn off your brain thing at the same time.
I don't know what you're talking about, dog. I was super stoked to learn and like focus super deeply on this. Well, it wasn't dubbed, so I had to pay attention. I actually had to read the subs. Also,
I feel like whenever we've seen something, we are more critical because we're making those comparisons consistently with everything that happens. So yeah, you are always paying a bit more attention, and it's churning along because of that. So I don't know.
And I think when it comes to those like the consistency of this one and like the actual show, like I mean, to my knowledge, like it's pretty spot on. Like obviously they changed some things because the show is 12 episodes long for the first cour. It's 24 episodes long, I think. Yeah. 22 for the whole thing. So like obviously
they cover a season in a movie, like roughly.
Yeah. They for sure cut it down. Like it's under 2 hours. I think it's like an hour 40. So
I don't feel like it lost a whole lot though. I feel like they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, no, I was kind of, you know how we always do the thing where we try to guess like where is this going to stop exactly with an anime? Is like, so I'm trying to guess like at what point in the show is movie gonna quit, because I know there's a part two, and it ended actually
It ended at a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's like the big confrontation at school, and then there's a confrontation with Mr. A after that, and I go, wow, this feels good. Like this
It makes sense.
This felt.
Let me just tell you, I did not like that confrontation. I felt like that was.
Like the fight?
Yeah.
You mean? Okay. I did think the fight was a little, what's the word?
It just doesn't look
cheesy,
cool. Yeah, it doesn't look cool. And the whole like anime I'm watching, I'm like, man, this is fucking wild. And there were like some things in the anime, like there's that whole, they're in the middle of the forest, and they're like I don't remember if they were trucks or cars or whatever, but there were vehicles involved, and then A's just fucking sprinting down the road like no fucking big deal. Maybe it wasn't maybe it was
that's
like,
the other guy.
The other guy.
That's the guy that has like 5 parasites inside of him at one
time.
That
guy, yeah. There was that whole thing, and I felt like watching the anime, that was very like, nah, I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. This looks really dumb. And that's how I felt during that fight with A.
I think the fight, because I remember that happens in the show, but I don't remember if we see the fight, if it cuts away. Migi has to fall asleep because he's at his
he's reached
time to go his limit.
And whenever he sleeps, he doesn't do anything. He's essentially dead, is what he says. There's no way to wake me up until I just wake up.
Yeah, and he's like, here, I'll leave you with this parting gift. I'll turn my hand into a sword. Good luck, with fighting Mr. A. And like I said, I don't recall that fight, what it looked like. But I did, while watching, I was like, it felt very Power Ranger-y. Like, that's what it like gave me vibes. I was like, okay, cool, he's doing the flip now, and he's doing the slashing now. I did like the way that fight ended with the, maybe his mom being still kind of in there for a bit. I was like, oh, that's nice. That's like a nice touch. I don't remember if that actually happened.
Yeah, just to like fuck with him a little bit. Just like, oh yeah, I'm here too, mom. Or I'm here too, son. Whatever.
Yeah, where it's the bit where like, like he was going to get got, and then like the hand, pushes him pushes the tentacle out of the way, and he's just like, is that mom? And then he just kind of fucking ends it. But yeah, like I get what you're saying. That confrontation did feel very like meh,
It was not the best note to end on, but also for story elements, I feel like they were really nailing like the pacing of everything. That is that end climax fight, and then we get a little bit more story to ease us into the second part.
Yeah, it felt like an actual movie, like beginning, climax, done. Like
it was pretty wild, right? Very good job at doing that. I had a good time watching it. Didn't have any kinds of issues with the way that the story was told. All of my issues are with like the washed out filter, which I feel like is used so frequently. And I was texting you about this. It's used so frequently on these kinds of supernatural horror type things. Like look at Attack on Titan. They use gross ass filters on that whole movie. I think they even did with like I Am Hero, which also it looked good at parts, but there were other parts that were like too many layers of filters on there. But then you brought up like, oh, it could be used to hide the animation, and we wound up deciding
the
like,
CG,
it's a combination of the CGI filter overlay so that it looks a little bit better, and somebody being like, well, we need to make it look better, just put a filter on it. Like, well, what scenes? Because some of them it wouldn't look good. Well, then just put a fucking filter over the whole movie. That way people won't question it. All right.
We were talking about that. Like we obviously we don't know, like unless we ask someone. I have no idea. But our best guess was like budgets issues. Like, hey, cool. Like just fucking, as opposed to spending the time and effort to have someone go in and do every single scene or the specific scenes and then kind of tweak it. Like fuck it, just put it over everything. Who the fuck cares? Laziness, right? That could have been another factor. Being like, who cares? Just toss it in and call it good. And there were times that the CG, I think like the filter benefited it. It did help like hide not the smoothest edges or whatever, or like green screeny or blue screeny or whatever screen they used to make it. But and there were times where like I think like broad daylight, like Migi's out, and I go, wow, that looks really good. And then there's other times broad daylight, Migi's out, and I go, fuck, that looks like trash. Why are they so zoomed in?
So that was one of my bigger problems with it.
I think my least favorite bit was like when it came like CG wise, whenever they had like his arm really long, like elongated, and like Migi's like at his desk and he's like maybe on his bed or whatever, it gave me like super like vibes of like Fantastic Four, like the original ones with like, you know,
yikes.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, with
The
Mr. Elastic
yeah.
and like, and the second one with like, you know, Rise of Silver Surfer, like just really fucking corny cheeseball, like fucking elasticity, which like, ugh, they should have done another pass at that one. But as a whole, like you know, we can, you know, throw shit at the CG all day, but it's better than a lot of other CG we've seen out there with other, you know, live action garbage. So
yeah, honestly, overall, it really impressed me. I did not go into this movie expecting to come out the way that I did. Just consistently from start to finish, there were things that kept being like, oh wow, they did this really well. They're doing some good stuff. Like, I'm surprised that I haven't. But the way that we had to watch it, which is very common with a lot of live action things, is you have to watch it off of like weird ass shady websites. So like Kiss Asian, which has all these different live action drama Asian shows. Anyways, we had to watch from there. So my like audio was out of sync with the video a little bit. Some of the translation was fucking bad. So I feel like I could have overall had a much better time with it, but it's not worth it to go out and check on like a shady ass website unless you're like, well, I gotta get as much Parasyte as I can. And I think that sounds like a fun, goofy time, because that's what we do for these. We go into it not expecting much, expecting to at least like be able to laugh at it and call it a day.
Or talk about it for an hour, you know?
And this one, we could have talked about it more, but instead we do what we always do. And
not
talk about anime.
No, you know what? I will say that like we did look around, and I think the only place that had the live action movie was Funimation for sale, and just because of our track record with live action garbage, we're like, there's no way we're fucking buying this. No. Like it's not gonna happen.
I would rent it if it was like $4 or something on Amazon. I would for sure do that. But I'm not shucking out $20 plus shipping so that I could watch this fucker. Like, not worth it.
No, for sure. And I think you had issues with, you said, with like your audio syncing and maybe the sub was a sub just was it delayed also?
It was just the audio syncing. The subtitles were just shitty at points. Like the translation was very okay. Well, that's some Google Translate shit. Like yeah.
I just had issues like getting the right resolution. Like there was like I was trying to get it at like 1080p or whatever, and it was just like it wasn't happening. And then it's like cool. There's like hey, this is at 360. I was like I might as well die if I'm gonna watch it at 360. And then eventually like I got one to work at like an okay, you know, resolution. I was just like, well, this is the one. I'm not gonna keep like it wasn't worth digging more to find the perfect one.
Weird time.
But my audio was fine, and to my knowledge, the sub was fine. Good time. I like you said, we go into these just expecting the worst, and I came out of this being like, wow, it was a good time. I would watch part 2 whenever. Like if that was like next week's episode, I would be like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Well, for next week, we are watching Dorohedoro, which we're going to go into with good expectations, high expectations, and we're probably going to come back upset because it didn't meet our insane expectations.
Quickly before we get done with live action, we just got to rank it. So we have a list of all our live actions that we watched for this show, all the live action garbage.
Name one.
Erase the Netflix series. Right. Trip and I have at like I don't know, maybe the second or third time we did live action garbage, we maybe disagreed a little bit. So we do have separate lists, but they're pretty similar for the most part. Like there's just like a few where like Trip really hated, and I was just like, I didn't think it was that bad. But we did this beforehand, and Trip already picked where he'd put his, so this actually cracks his top 3. So it'd be below the
baby.
Netflix,
and that's Netflix with like the shitty filter. That's with the terrible quality of animation, and that's with the terrible translation. It exceeded a lot
of other things. Yeah. So at the very top, Trip has Netflix, the Netflix series of Erased.
Boom.
And then below that, he has I Am Hero, which technically isn't an anime, but it is a manga that has a really good movie, right? And then right below that, he put Parasyte, part 1. And then I have the exact same thing at the very top. Mine is Erased, I Am Hero, and then actually, no, I don't. I guess I put Inuyashiki above Parasyte. Do I believe that? Now, I think I enjoyed Parasyte more than Inuyashiki.
Just a little bit. Just something about it felt more authentic.
That I think it's the actors. Like, they just were better actors.
A little bit. Like, because Inuyashiki, they also had, like, pretty good overall. But parts of the story were kind of dumb. And the CG fights, while they looked kind of cool, other parts where he's, like, flying around didn't look super cool.
I think also maybe just the way that story ended, Inuyashiki, like, ended at a not the best note, in my opinion.
That's true.
So I'm going to agree with Trip. I'm also going to put this in third. Yeah, man, that was a good time for live action garbage, honestly.
Yeah, it was. All right, so next week is Dorohedoro. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Those of you that are able to watch us on Twitch, we are streaming each week that we record our episodes, so that's cool. And yeah, appreciate your guys' support. It's fun being able to do this during these weird times, streaming it, you know, that whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you like our theme song, check out Tom Nasser on SoundCloud and YouTube. Trip, where can we find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram podcast. If you want to send us a tweet at InstantRamenPod.
Podcast didn't fit.
You can shoot us an email, InstantRamenPodcast@gmail.com. Because of all of these delays in shows, because of the whole pandemic right now, we like having new short anime to check out and watch. Even if it's not too short, like maybe we'll just enjoy the first season. Like if you give us something like Non Biyori, yeah, like that is a very just, you can watch the first season. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't, and you don't need more. If it's a story that's going to be ongoing, I'm not really looking for something like that. But yeah, send us something short and sweet so we can check it out and review it. Maybe it'll be the next episode. I mean, not clearly the next one, but you know, the next one.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. This is bye from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.